Good evening. We are not live, but this is the Common Call and Roundtable discussion. I will be acting as proxy host tonight. My name is Al, aka Dusty Big Brown. To my left, we have Christopher White, aka Sith 2814 on Instagram, and then right below us, we have the esteemed panelist Xavier Randall, aka Hydro XR12 on IG. We are getting together this evening because we want to talk about the new book, The Three Jokers by DC Comics. All three of us on the panel are actually reading it. I think Sean, aka Stay Puff, is reading it as well, but he wasn't able to join us. So what we're doing, we're actually going to do this particular video and hope you like it. If you like it, share it. And then if you're not a member or a subscriber, subscribe to the Comic Hall and Roundtable discussion. So basically, we're going to go from there, and I'm going to basically ask Chris, how are y'all doing this evening?
I'm doing well. Anxious about talking about this book, man. I don't know nobody that's probably not reading it, but if you're not reading it, you need to go out and pick it up and start reading it.
I know one person in the group that's not reading it, and his name is Larry Crocker.
Well, we ain't going to even talk about
Larry.
Larry. The day he read a Batman comic book, it's going to be some C notes saved. It be in between the pages. Like, you got to read this book.
Bruce Wayne would have given the money right then and there.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. But yeah, we've been reading, The Three Jokers, and if you haven't read it or slow to read it, it's a phenomenal story thus far. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna talk about it starting with book 1, and then we're gonna move to book 2. Hopefully, when we get to book 3, we'll do a live show where we can stream and we can have there it is, where we have a live show where we can have some participation with the chat. So, fellas, we're going to start with book 1. And, of course, the opening scene is in my mind fresh because I read it this morning. We see Bruce Wayne actually headed back to the Wayne Manor. He is, of course, had a long, hard night of crime fighting. He got beat the hell up by somebody, by who we don't know. But he makes it into the Batcave. He gets to Alfred. Alfred tells him he's gonna patch him up. Now, in the interim, during this particular time frame, he ran into the gravestones of his parents when he was getting back to the I don't know why it's a Batcave, Wayne Manor Batcave.
Well, if you can let screen share, and I can pull it up because I got it digital. I can pull it up and screen share, and we can see. We can let people see exactly what we're talking about here.
Okay.
Because it's really to me anyway, it's telling of the Batman history of what he struggles with and goes through,
right?
As being Batman, with what he because he goes out and he fights, and he's got the suit on and all those stuff, but you never really think about in some instances how injured he actually becomes when he's out there doing his thing, being Batman, until especially until you see it in this, and you see those injuries, and it's just kind of just like, man, like,
right.
You see, here we go. Share this right quick with you guys. You see the injuries, like you were saying, he's getting back to. You guys see it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just like you were just talking about, there it is. He's getting back to, he ran into his parents' tombstones, unfortunately, trying to get back to the house. And I love the quick little pan through of the Batcave, kind of,
right.
I love the giant 8-ball because that's new. As a Batman fan, growing up and reading the comic books, you always saw the dinosaur and the giant penny and like the bat suits and everything. But you never really see a whole lot of new stuff in the Batcave other than like vehicles.
Right.
So for me, it was really cool seeing, this new 8-ball and also, I guess to a degree, it's kind of a storytelling thing because he's coming in injured. So, to a degree, Batman's like behind the 8-ball right now because he's hurting.
Wow.
And as the story progresses, also, picking up the pieces and putting the clues together, he's behind the 8-ball trying to figure out what the Joker is up to in the story. So we see that kind of a storytelling vehicle for us. But like you were saying, Al, he gets in, he gets to Alfred, and it was interesting to me the shears he's got to use, and it's just like, oh yeah, that's right, the batsuit is reinforced.
Right.
Like
Right.
you can't just take a pair of Walmart scissors and cut it off of him. Um, but then you just to see in the injuries, and I love the little flashbacks of where they came from.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was
Mm-hmm.
just so great to me because you always know Alfred's patching him up, but just seeing his back, and it's like, just man,
I
that
mean,
I was gonna say, think about how many times Alfred has done this to where you're like, all right, here we go again. Let's knock it out.
let's patch him up and let's hope
Let's
it's all
let's,
for the better.
I mean,
let's get him some hot milk so he can go to sleep.
Make him a cocoa
I
and
mean,
roll
y'all,
the
Right.
wrap.
if you think about it though, I mean, it's part of the course. I mean, this is no different than him actually cooking dinner for Bruce when he comes home from
Right.
the Enterprises. You know what I'm saying? He knows that when Bruce goes out at night, yeah, I'm gonna have to go ahead and pull out the kit. He said he was gonna go after the penguin tonight, so he got that umbrella that can jab him real quick, jig him
Right?
up. So, but yeah,
Who
this right
thought
here was
umbrellas were so dangerous?
a
And
dude.
these are old scars that were reopened.
Yes.
Right.
So let me ask y'all this in regards to what Chris is showing us, and we thank you for showing it like this, Chris. It is pretty cool. But in regards to the flashback when him actually going through each, because I know they showed, if you scroll, they showed Catwoman, they showed Scarecrow,
That's
Bang.
the
Bane.
man.
Oh yeah, that was
Bane.
the
Ooh.
first one. That's what I wanted to
Ooh.
ask y'all. Do y'all think there's any symbolism in this in regards to why they showed this one first in correlation to the whole story?
What I was gonna say while Chris was talking, like I didn't want to interrupt him, but I think it was so perfect because as soon as he said what he said about seeing the eight ball and Batman being behind the proverbial eight ball, that was the first thing that I thought about, and then I looked I flipped the page and saw Bane. I was like, well, if anything, it's gonna show how broken he is as an individual and how
Mm-hmm.
he always bounces back. So I thought that was perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It still hurt me, even though I think we need to scroll before I start crying on screen. But man, it's amazing how they tied all this in.
You never
And
think
then
of
when you
Riddler leaving a scar.
right, right. But here's the funny thing though, how we're talking about the villains and whatnot. When you flip to the next page, not the immediate next page, but the one following that, it's the perfect segue into the actual book itself.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because after after we show the scarecrow, they have three panels, well, technically four panels in a row of the Joker.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's the different variations of them, and I think that's so perfect leading into what we are about to read or have read and are about to talk about.
Right. Exactly.
Like,
You
this
know.
is this foreshadowing was amazing in this
Mm-hmm.
story, and then just it's amazing because looking at it, I know I've read this thing about three times. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But I'm just sitting here looking at it as we're going over it again, and this first book is telling you a lot, and just the foreshadowing as to it leading up to the end of book
Mm-hmm.
two.
When
Right.
when you look at him, his scars are roadmap.
Right,
When you think about it, of the stuff that he's done to protect Gotham. You know, and like you were saying, X, seeing the four panels of the Joker, you're seeing that, the Joker has been the one who has, in some ways, in a lot of ways, inflicted the most damage on Batman, which is again one of those storytelling elements for the entire Three Jokers story that we're going to talk about and get into. But this foreshadowing in these panels alone, are just like you see like you said, the three different Jokers. Here we have, he's been shot, he's been hit with the acid from the flower, the razor sharp cards, the gun,
the
the
guns,
yeah.
the little bang gun.
Mm-hmm. It's all really great storytelling and foreshadowing, giving you of what which is one of those things, you have to read again, because the first time you read it, you're just trying to absorb it and just
Right.
like eat it up like breakfast. And then you go back and you read it again, and you're just like, man, I didn't see that the first time I read it, and now I do, because that first time you read, you might be reading for the art, and then the second time you read for the
Yep.
story.
Hmm.
And when you're reading for the story, you catch so much more in the art, in the pictures telling the story,
Yep.
and not just the words telling the story.
Like, just to piggyback off of what you just said, like on the next page. Matter of fact, if you scroll down past this one, those two that right there, side by side of his eyes,
Mm-hmm.
you see everything in just those two panels right there. Like, if they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, this right here
Yep.
epitomized this story. You know what I'm saying?
So at
Like,
this,
the intensity. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just saying, like, the intensity in his eyes, the determination,
Mm-hmm.
yet the pain that he has. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to do, to put all of that into one simple picture, but you do it, and I think it only works with certain characters. And
Hmm.
Bruce Wayne,
Yeah.
Batman, is one of those characters that you can get away with doing this.
Yeah.
This is so it's amazing. Golly, man. And
It's
that's
the
not me
Batman
being a
show we've waited
Batman
for.
fanboy.
That's just great writing and storytelling with an amazing character. Because I've read tons of comics where it's an amazing character, but then whoever was writing it wrote a crap story. And so then the two don't work well. It's like, oh, it's amazing art, it's an amazing character, but the story fell flat.
Yeah.
Whereas here we're getting all three, and it is done. Like I said earlier to you, say what you want about Jeff, but the man can write a good comic book.
Oh yeah. Most
That man,
definitely.
that man put a story together.
Right.
Most
Say what you
definitely.
want, but
And you can
And,
tell when he's really into it.
yeah.
Like, when
and
he's really into it, this is the end result. What we're talking about right now.
Right.
hmm the cool part about this particular panel is actually what happens next. Because looking at the whole history of his injuries, him sitting here with that look on his face that just like, I don't know what's going to happen next, or I'm just so flustered, or is it all worth it? It's just a whole bunch of emotions that you can see in this panel on the left. But then it was that one particular moment when he started hearing the laughter, then it
Right.
just flashed back until the origin, basically. And
Right.
that's when, him and his parents were actually leaving the movie theater. And it was
Yep.
it was one of those things that kind of like and let's be honest, Batman is a traumatized individual.
Oh man.
Let's just be real. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Batman has we talked about this before we started recording. He's one of the most intelligent characters in the DC universe. He's one of the most wealthiest characters in the DC universe, but Batman has some issues,
Oh yeah.
and it's like with the injuries that he sustained, which I think those panels were just so well put together. And then going back to to his childhood, to where it all started, it was like, okay, so we're getting the basis by which this particular story is going to continue to build, and that's basically with the murder of his parents. So, but as this particular panel, or this part of the story progresses, of course it goes through the age old story about what happened with Bruce's parents and everything. And then towards the end of it, each particular story within the first issue had a little tagline for each particular Joker that's
Right.
showcased. So with this particular one, because his parents were murdered because the dude wanted money, this particular segment was listed as the criminal,
Right.
which I thought was pretty cool to label each one of them. Go ahead, X. I see you want to say something.
Read that. Read right there at the bottom of the panel.
It says, why
Why
are
are
you
you laughing?
laughing?
The the foreshadowing in all of this, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're
I
talking about the three different tags. You got the comedian,
Mm-hmm.
the criminal, and what was the third one? Yeah, you just said the comedian, the criminal, and what
I
was the
have
third one?
I have to look right quick because I can't remember
right.
either.
I
That was the
I I love that they put these two panels so well together to give you a better understanding of Bruce, because you see him here, full grown
Right.
adult. He's come in from being Batman. He's been beat up, but then you see that flashback panel to him as a kid. And when you look at young Bruce Wayne, he's like 9, 10 years old here, and you look back up at adult Bruce Wayne, and they
The
look
same
like
eyes.
they look like two different people, like in the face because of what he's been through. It you can see that it has not just emotionally changed him, but it's physically changed him into who he is. But the eyes, like you said, X, the eyes, the eyes are still there. Like, even though his face has changed, those eyes, those blue eyes are still the blue eyes of that young, innocent kid who's about to experience one of the most tragic events a person can experience in their life. You know, and it's just, and I love the aspects of them doing just the small splash of color, kind of like that Sin City aspect, with the red on the popcorn
Yep.
bag, with
Yep.
the rest of it all being in black and white, so it stands out and gives you that slight importance of the situation, um, and just it's so great to see that, and again here in this panel, in the bottom right side, is something you almost never see on adult Bruce Wayne's face, is that fear and panic that's on his face right there as a kid. When Joe Chill steps out with the gun and his parents protecting him right there, that look of fear that's on Bruce's face right there, you never see that in adult Bruce. Like, I don't think I've seen that since Bane broke his back when he came into and Alfred was down and Bane was in Wayne Manor. I think that's the only time I've seen an adult Bruce Wayne look that afraid of something.
A Death in the Family when he
Oh,
held Jason.
okay,
He had
you
the
are
same
correct.
look.
You are correct. I totally forgot. Oh, I just remembered. That reminds me that animated movie is coming out next week.
The interactive one. Oh
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
I can't wait.
The third one is called The Clown, but of course
The clown.
we're
That's
gonna
what
get
I
Clown.
thought. Yeah.
him in a few seconds. So, but yeah, I mean,
Oh,
as far as it goes, man, the actual the build up in regards to everything, and like you said, Chris, and I didn't notice this up until you just brought it up, the whole Sin City factor with everything red actually being highlighted. It didn't
right.
even dawn on me that they used that particular art style to portray this particular scene. I'm gonna call it scene, even though they're panels. But
Yeah.
everything that was playing out in Bruce's head at the time he was getting stitched up. So, this particular part of the story kind of didn't it end on this particular page, or did it go
Uh-huh.
another? It
There's
went
one more.
another one.
It's
Okay,
another page. Yeah.
The flashback lasts a little bit longer,
okay.
and then there's the classic, the Wayne's on the ground with again the red, the blood showing, and then and then again,
The
like X was talking about.
transition.
Well, not even just a transition. The box right here, here we are, the transition from young Bruce to old Bruce. But besides that, though, we come from the flashback of his parents dying, and then what does that box say? This wound is deeper than the others,
Yep.
because the death of his death of his parents is the deepest wound that Bruce has when it comes to everything else he has been through as Batman.
And it's the only wound that never healed.
Never healed. Right.
And then if you look at this next one where it says it's going to leave another scar, not that you notice. Uh,
Right. Because in Bruce's mind, all the scars on his body from Catwoman, Bane, Penguin, Joker, all of them pale in comparison to the scar that Joe Chill left on him when he killed his parents.
Yep.
right.
Because he was able to bounce back from all of those. He never
Right.
bounced back from this.
Yep.
He
Yeah.
created a different being.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I like the way from this particular panel or these series of panels, how they actually segue into the news broadcast that
Right.
correlated with everything that started from the beginning in reference to the deaths of was it mob leaders that got killed?
Mm-hmm.
So they got killed at the hands of the Joker, apparently. The Moxon crime family executed. And then it says a war the Joker began when he first appeared in Gotham. Chill is serving a license.
And I love how it alludes to that, that maybe the Moxon crime family had them killed, but then Joe Chill went ahead and confessed to it, to acting alone, basically getting them off.
Right.
Which is what we talked about earlier, Al, before we started recording, talking about how a lot of the little footnotes in the story allude to the fact that the Joker knows who Batman actually is.
Yeah. And you know
And has
what?
always known.
And has always known.
And this is something else too. And I'm not gonna jump the gun, but I just noticed this after reading the second issue, where they were talking about orchestrating the murders of Thomas and Martha Wayne. They were exonerated after a petty thief named Joe Chill confessed to acting alone. Folks, there's actually some additional information in the second issue that actually
Foreshadowing.
revolves around Joe Chill that I did not know. I didn't realize
Foreshadow.
until we started this conversation.
Exactly. Until you start
So,
The
dissecting it.
foreshadowing
oh
in
my
it.
God. So that's deep. Okay. So so basically this particular panel ends with Batman getting ready to get on the scene, go out to the location to find out exactly what's happening. And at this point, this particular version of the Joker is named or labeled the criminal.
Which again, in that panel, the Joker's true name, of course, remains unknown.
Right.
The criminal. But then right at the bottom, it's the criminal. You don't know his true name, but that's how he's thought of as. This version of the Joker is thought of as the criminal, and that's essentially his name, whether you know his real name or not. That's who he is. He's the criminal Joker. And just yeah.
This right here gave me goosebumps. Like what we see on the screen right now. Because we thought we saw foreshadowing in the first couple of panels of Batman's backstory, so to speak, or his flashback. The determination with her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just panel to panel, like you sitting here like, what's going on? What's going on? Then after you see everything on this and you see what happened and you flip to the next page, it's like, oh my God, dude.
But
This man has killed everybody. Not physically, but he's literally killed everybody in the Bat family.
He's injured them in some way,
Right.
shape, or form.
Right.
But again, though, in the third panel here, you notice the shirt.
Yep.
The shirt that the guy is wearing on the TV, the comedian he killed, that's the exact same shirt that the Joker was wearing when he shot Barbara Gordon.
Yep.
The exact same shirt.
Now, one thing I also just noticed too, which is just amazing how you can read stuff in hindsight, is the fact that if you scroll back up, Chris, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so if you go all the way back to the top, it says in the second panel, do you have an uncontrollable urge to move your legs? Do you have difficulty standing still and trouble sleeping?
All things that Barbara dealt with
yes,
when she became crippled.
Oh my God.
And then when she first got her legs back.
Yep.
And that she still deals with to this day.
So she's looking at this whole scenario play out. This commercial is already pissing her off according to her face. Because I think the next panel right below on the left was talking about restless leg syndrome. So she's basically in a zone at this particular point because all of this is actually flooding memories, which we'll see in the next couple of pages in regards to what the Joker did to her. But all while this is going on, news coverage comes on where they talk about a comedian that used to call himself the Fat Man from Hawaii. I can't remember his name specifically. He was apparently off by the Joker.
He called himself Fat Man.
And he called
himself Fat Man.
Yeah. So
oversized bat suit.
Right. So basically at this point, being that Barbara Gordon's already worked herself up in a tizzy, she about to do some damage to the treadmill, which I've not seen in life, like in real life. So she had to really be agitated, and those feelings or the emotions had to really be flooding her mind at this point for her to just tap a treadmill. But it's
and the swollest dude in there, like, hey man,
she broke another.
I ain't finna mess with her.
And
I'll go deal with her.
it's really interesting to see that, knowing that she was crippled and couldn't use her legs, and then seeing her
Yep.
basically burn out a treadmill, which is one of those things that you normally only ever see like a Flash character do.
Right.
Right.
Shows you just that determination, how much she was pushing herself. Because back at the time we saw it was already at maximum speed, and she
Right.
burned out a treadmill.
And
So
this comes from someone who couldn't walk
Mm-hmm.
at one point. There were no magical beads implanted in her, Felicity Smoke from Arrow.
From Arrow, right? In her comic book, when New 52 started, Barbara already had her ability back to walk again, and they basically went through the whole situation of her going through therapy, and
Yeah.
ended up not being as bad or whatever. But in her comic book, she dealt with a few issues where, whenever I remember there was one particular issue when she was facing a villain, and she was, swinging from her bat line, and the bat line got cut, and
mm,
her back slammed into a building, and she instantly, got nervous and shocked, and was terrified that she might have been
She went
paralyzed again.
catatonic.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
her focus for fighting and everything else just went out the window because she was terrified that she might be paralyzed again.
Right.
And it happened again, and a few issues later, she's fighting somebody again, and they give her a kidney punch that was close to the spine, and again, that trauma came back up, and she was worried again. It's like, oh, is this the one that's gonna cripple me permanently this time? And so I totally see that. Seeing this is one of those things, like you see that determination she has to always push herself to not be limited again. Even though she was great as Oracle, Barbara Gordon sees herself better as Batgirl, obviously.
yeah.
Just wait till you get to the next panel.
So
Bullet wound.
we skip to the next panel, and she's in the shower getting cleaned up, and we focus on what Chris just mentioned, the bullet wound. Um, yeah, and there he is
With the shirt.
with the shirt.
Sure. Which, if you haven't read The Killing Joke, I
Yo.
completely understand. Go out and find it on DVD or Blu-ray. It'll be on Netflix sometime this month. If you haven't watched it, go give it a watch. It's almost like page for page for the trade paper to read the story of what happened to Barbara that caused her to get crippled by the Joker and everything. Like, go. It's also an amazing recommended story to read as far as like the compendium to this. Like, if you're reading the Three Jokers and you want to see that Joker in action, read The Killing Joke. It's an amazing story. It's an amazing comic.
If you watch the animated movie, skip past the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, probably do that too.
Yeah, skip past that. It has nothing to do with the Killing Joke. That was just something to make the movie last an hour.
Yeah.
Skip past that, get to the actual Killing Joke portion of it. You'll
And
love it.
you will love it.
So we see what happens with her when the Joker actually comes to her home and accosts her, and basically with the Joker, from what I've learned about the Joker by reading Batman, is that everything he does for the most part is motivated by his obsession with Batman. So
Hmm.
when it comes down to it, like they were saying about the Killing Joke, I've never read the actual comic or the trade paperback, but I did watch the movie, and I was told that it was accurate to the comic book. So yeah, as far as it goes, it's worthwhile reading or watching, either or, on whichever media you choose. But we see what the cause of Barbara's trauma is at this particular point. And as we progress down through the rest of the panel, we go back to where she was actually taking the shower. So all the while she's in the shower, after she saw all this stuff about the legs and the comedian getting killed, she flashes back herself to the time where she was actually accosted by the Joker. And at that moment, she finishes her shower, and we are introduced to the second Joker, which is the comedian.
Yep.
So, anything else y'all want to pontificate on this particular Joker? Because I know
I actually
go ahead.
I understand where the camera came from now after reading this, because the fat man taking his shirt, aloha, everything was in Hawaii. That's where he got on. It's the persona of a tourist.
Tourist.
So I get it. Yeah. like I always knew what it was, but it's a little just when you see something like this and it's something that you haven't read and or paid attention to in a long time, it all just starts resurfacing.
Yeah,
So I can dig it.
Chris.
I already explained my like it's such a great um it's such a great vehicle because through the story of it's one of those things through the story of the three Jokers, especially in this first issue, they do a great job of grounding you to everybody's history of the Joker. So not only are we dealing with three Jokers, but we're also dealing with three different members of the Bat family who've had three different experiences with each version of the Joker. And we see exactly what their trauma is from that particular Joker and why they have that mad on that hate for the Joker in general. Because of what's happened to them by that one. And Barbara, even though Bruce has had his issues with the Joker, for Barbara and for Jason, as we get to it, theirs is a tad bit more personal
Mm-hmm.
on that level. Because this was for Barbara, this was in her home.
Right.
She was shot at her own front door. As we see, she answers the door, and the Joker shoots her in the abdomen in her own home. This wasn't she was attacked while out stopping some bank robbery or chasing down some criminal and got ambushed. She was at home in her own
Vulnerable.
right, vulnerable. In video game terms, she was in a safe room and
Right.
got attacked. And that's not something you expect to happen. And when that kind of thing happens, it makes you feel even more vulnerable and susceptible to the violence that is around you and the life that you live, especially being a vigilante like her, like Batman and Red Hood are. And so it's
Right.
like Barbara, it's just one of those things you don't expect to deal with in your own home. You feel like you should be safe at home. You spend so many hours of your life out on the streets of Gotham protecting so many innocent people. So when you come home, you hope to be safe as well. And the Joker violated that, and made her feel just, from that standpoint, like everyone else that she's protected in
Right.
Gotham, you feel vulnerable. No matter how much protection you may have, you can still get got.
Yeah.
And you feel like nothing.
Yeah,
You feel powerless. You feel like you said, everybody that she's protecting, you just vulnerable. Yeah, you hit that. That was spot on.
Cool. Cool. Well, we are actually going to move to the next panel, the next segment, which, in my
That
honest
do.
opinion, I know about Jason Todd, I know about Red Hood, but I would have to say throughout this whole series, and we ain't gotten to issue 2. We're gonna discuss issue 2. I think his whole story arc is like the most complex out of the two.
oh yeah,
Even with all the issues that Bruce has had as Batman growing up, this right here, man, it actually struck a chord with me the most. But we see an intro to Red Hood fighting some Joker goons in the graveyard. He's trying to get some intel on the Joker. The goons are, not being cooperative with him. He's wreaking havoc and, beating the brakes off of various gang members and all.
mm-hmm.
During this whole scuffle, he's actually hearing through his helmet some issues that happened at one of the local chemical factories in Gotham City. So he's trying to get some information to find Joker. And as he does, when we go down a little bit further, he gets a bit overwhelmed at one point, but he is good. God, I just realized he rammed this dude's head against the tombstone. Like,
Yeah.
ugh.
Of all the ex Robins and members of the Bat family, hands down, Jason is the most violent.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that if you haven't seen Under the Red
Visceral.
Hood, the animated movie, again, it's a story. It's an animated movie you should watch and go see because
Oh,
it gives you some really good insight into Jason's. So does this story also insight into Jason's motivations, and you see which issue 2 we'll talk about how Jason bouncing back from everything that happened, but a little bit of history about him if you don't know. Jason Todd is actually the only Robin to have been killed by a Joker. Um, which again is one of those
That
things.
has
It's
that has stuck.
that has stuck, and is also
Yeah.
again another scar that the Joker has given Batman.
Right.
It's his only real failure as Batman against the Joker. He couldn't save Jason. You know, he may not have been able to save some people here or there, but it was a personal thing because he took Jason in as a ward and trained him to be Robin and put him on the street. So Bruce feels personally responsible about what happened to
Right.
Jason, because if he hadn't have put him in the position to be Robin, he wouldn't have been in the position to get killed by the
Right.
Joker.
Right. To take someone who was well on their way to becoming a certified criminal to reform them into being his next protege, so to speak, vigilante,
Right.
Yeah, because
and still had like literally hold him as he's dying. Took his final breath in his arms. That will kill somebody, literally. Like that crush Bruce Wayne.
didn't
Yeah.
he make his introduction, like, didn't he steal the tires from Batman, the
He
Batman?
was stealing the right front tire off of the Batmobile when Bruce found him. And that's how he came across him, and Bruce hoped to channel his anger and his rage just like he did with Dick. Dick
Hmm.
had anger and he had rage, but there was also the difference of Dick didn't grow up on the streets. He grew up in the circus,
Right.
grew up with a loving family. And
Right.
yes, they were taken from him, but growing up to that point with them helped him develop better. Whereas with Jason, he essentially grew up on the streets, literally being a hood, hustling to get by, stealing, doing whatever he had to do because his mom was a junkie and his dad basically just disappeared on them and ghosted him as a kid.
Yeah.
So Bruce hoped that he would be able to, by becoming Robin, it would help him channel and focus that anger so he wouldn't just be mad all the time.
A form of reform. I got it. Cool.
Yeah.
And it was also literally right on the heels of the fallout between Bruce Wayne and Dick
Dick
Grayson.
Grayson. Right.
Hmm.
Because this is literally like right after um, Dick Grayson left to become Nightwing. You know what I'm saying? Now,
Yeah.
depending on what story you read, depending on the fallout between the two, but it still happened immediately after that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have two bona fide Batman. I don't know the word. I can't come up with the word, but they know their stuff about Batman. So, but yeah, in reference to this particular panel or this particular page, we hear through the radio broadcast that Red Hood is listening to a broadcast in reference to a doctor that basically was against superheroes, and he wrote books in regards. I think he was a psychiatrist or something of that nature. He wrote some books in reference to superheroes and why wearing a mask was deadly and not conducive to the psyche of the superhero wearing the mask or whatnot. And ironically, at this particular point in time, Red Hood is tackled and his mask / helmet comes off. And then while the mask actually conveniently rolls towards the tombstone that says rest in peace, just throwing all kind of little hints and clues and stuff out there to death in the family. It's found out later on that, well, actually early in the conversation or the news broadcast, that this particular doctor was murdered by a Joker.
Right.
And it's ironic too because I'm looking here and it's just so much. I'm gonna have to read these again, like, because I'm looking and because you pick up stuff that you didn't pay attention to, but I've been noticing throughout this particular page that there's been hints of a clown, the jester on the shoulder, and then it showed up again on a couple of the other thugs in the upper panel.
He's got the J
And
on his face there.
when he broke the dude's hand, he had the Joker tattoo on his wrist.
Yep, there it is again. So
and it's on that guy's shoulder.
There. So the actual foreshadowing again of what
I missed that one. It's on that guy's hand.
Yeah, of what this particular Joker is about is amazing because, like I said, it went way over my head. But looking at it now, I can see how they were actually setting it up for this particular Joker to be considered the clown. So if we move on a little bit further,
one little tidbit that I may be wrong about it, but what for me when I was reading this one is that they're talking about the doctor who was, he'd interviewed several inmates and he was a psychologist and all this. For me, instantly clicked to go back to Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns, because in
Dark
the Dark
Knight.
Knight
Yep.
Returns, there's a
Yep.
psychologist who talks about he can, he cures a Joker and he cured Two-Face. And he talks about how, Batman is the cause for all of the problems in Gotham, because if you think of Gotham as like a thin membrane and Batman hits it and it kind of bounces back and you get all the criminals. But also, though, in that story, Jason is the only Robin mentioned in the Dark Knight Returns. When Alfred and Bruce are talking and Alfred brings up Jason, all Bruce says is that Jason was a good soldier.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
And he is the only, they don't talk about Tim. They don't talk, and this was way before Damian. So they don't talk about Tim. They don't talk about Dick Grayson. Jason is the only Robin mentioned in the Dark Knight Returns story. So it really kind of, again, a connection kind of a situation where here we have the Red Hood hunting down the Joker, beating up Joker thugs, and we have a psychologist who's talking about how it's basically the vigilantes' fault that we have these villains and these criminals, to this level in the city, which is kind of the same thing that was being said in the Dark Knight Returns, in Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. So I think that for me was just one of those connection things. It was just like, okay, so Jeff Johns kind of went really deep into the archives of DC to pull out these little bitty tidbits that's kind of like these bat Easter eggs for like real fanboys who are reading it. And it's like, oh man, they mentioned the Dark Knight Returns by this little, so that kind of little thing.
What wasn't the only hint to Dick Grayson in that, if I remember correctly, was they mentioned Bloodhaven and that was it.
Right, they mentioned Bloodhaven. That was all you got. And after that, it was all about Carrie Kelly, and she became the Robin, and it goes on.
Right.
And then the Joker eventually comes back. But again, in that story, the Joker only comes back because Bruce became Batman again.
Comes back, right.
And so it's kind of, which again ties into the whole underlying story of the three Jokers on how the Joker sees his relationship with Batman. In the Dark Knight Returns, the Joker was catatonic for like 15, 20 years. Hadn't said a word, hadn't moved, hadn't done anything. And all of a sudden, Batman starts appearing on the news, and then he comes out of being catatonic. And then, so here we also have in this story, you see the everything that the Joker has done. Like you said, Al, everything he's done has been about his relationship with Batman. In his eyes, he's done it to either hurt him or make him better. And it all kind of just folds together in these stories when you're reading, when you're reading these little news bulletin headlines and you're seeing the action that's happening and the characters that are involved, you see once again, it's all coming back around to that core of the relationship of the Joker and Batman and how the Joker sees his relationship with Batman versus how it may actually be.
X, would you like to add to that, sir?
I'm right there with him. I agree. Now, I do have one question for y'all. One question. Okay. When y'all were reading, as you were reading the intro of Red Hood into this story, that scene where they're surrounding him, did it make y'all think about the Batman trailer?
Oh,
with the face paint and when he beat him that right. Did y'all think about that when you saw that?
I didn't, but I do now. Oh man, looking at that now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm vengeance.
Cause to be honest, Batman doesn't react like that often. Mm-mm. But looking at this panel right here and thinking about that was more Jason Todd than Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm sitting here. This is the fourth time I'm reading this because I'm reading it as we go again. And, bruh.
So now we get to a point in time where Jason Todd is on the ropes. And when it looks like it's over for our anti-hero, he starts to flash back after we see a picture of the scar on the back of his head. All the while, he's still listening to what's going on with the news report pertaining to the psychologist. At that point, one of the thugs say, "No more helmet." Apparently, that was the trigger for Jason Todd. because the next few panels shows the Joker
Oh,
going to town. And boy, does he go to town. And it's cool. I like this whole thing as far as this particular flashback because you're looking at Jason Todd. And when you look at him in that panel, he looks more to me like Robin back when that happened to him, more
I can
so than
see
he
it.
looks
I can
like
see it.
Red Hood.
yep.
Yeah. He also looked just like Willem Dafoe right here in the center.
Yeah, the Joker does. It kind of, yeah.
So yeah, he looks. I'm moving this over so people can see it. But yeah, he looks more like Robin than he does actual Red Hood, which to me is amazing because it was when I first saw it. I'm like, wow, this man is actually not only reliving this in his mind, but he's reliving this in real life.
Yeah.
So he actually, as we progress, he gathers his wits about himself, and then, he gains the upper hand again. And at this particular point, let's see here. Scroll down a little bit, please, Chris.
I just want to say something right quick.
Go right ahead, sir.
If you already missing a tooth, don't fight somebody who knocking your homeboy teeth out.
Right.
Just concede.
That whole situation right there.
Right. Like you see that gap right there.
Yeah. Right there.
You don't see that other tooth popping out unless he planning on catching that to go to the dentist with it.
Yeah.
just I ain't saying fear man, but you got to be a smart fighter, and that's bad
not
business
smart.
right there. Right.
It's not smart.
Yeah.
That's actual malpractice right there. If you a thug.
But what I just noticed, harking back to what you were talking about, I just noticed when you're talking about how he looks more like Robin.
Mhm.
Going back looking, I hadn't realized just how much, but he changed his outfit in this comic book. Red Hood's outfit is different. He is now wearing the R like Robin on the belt buckle.
Oh wow.
I was going to ask y'all if y'all notice how many different costumes he wears.
He's got the tunic just like his Robin outfit. He's got the
Uh-huh.
utility belt like his Robin outfit.
Mm-hmm.
He's wearing the red breast just like his Robin outfit.
Yep.
So it's harking back to his Robin days. He changed his because his outfit in his
not
own
armor.
comic is totally right. It's not armor. His outfit in his comic book looks completely different. So for
Right.
this comic book specifically, they've thrown him back to his Robin days, and he's wearing. So he really is, like you said, he really is back to being like Robin because he's got the tunic, he's got the utility belt on. Like, yeah, I just noticed that.
Does he have a little? Well, I know he doesn't, but if he would have had on like the little Peter Pan shoes and whatnot, I'm done.
You've been out.
I don't think that
Look
was
at the way he snapped that arm, though.
Yeah.
Poor man. They say Batman won't kill you, but he'll definitely send you to the hospital.
Yeah, and they mess with the wrong one with Jason Todd because he'll do both.
Man,
He'll
he
do
won't
both.
kill
He'll send you to the. Nah, he won't send you to the hospital. He'll kill you.
right. Jason
Yeah, he'll
puts
just
an end
kill
to
you.
things.
Right.
You might not die, but you won't enjoy living. That's
At all.
not at all.
With what the remaining 4 teeth in your mouth.
Man.
Not a few old boy. He wants
Yeah.
to.
Ooh.
And this even alludes to his anger here in this panel because he's just like, I didn't think you'd know, but I wanted to stretch my legs. Like, so going in, he knew he wouldn't get the answers he was looking for from them, but he still beat the crap out of them because they were Joker thugs.
How you knock somebody bad tooth out?
Forcefully, apparently.
With that backhand of destruction that he.
He ain't lying.
That's some anger built up in that punch, man.
That's a tennis backhand. Oof.
Yeah.
Right. But yep. So we see at the end of this, he ends up not getting the information that he was looking for. But as Chris alluded or mentioned, he was basically just exercising. I guess that's the best terminology that we can use. So we move on to this particular Joker. I say particular a lot. We move on to this Joker, which is referred to as the Clown. So this ends the third act in regards to the flashback. So we've set the tone for the story. And with the next page, we flash forward to the site of the first crime scene, and we see a flashback to the Joker's original costume as the Red
Red
Hood,
Hood.
which I can't see how he wore that, man, because it to me it was like, ugh, how does he breathe? Like, I don't know. I'm just talking, but yeah. So we
Short
see
breaths.
apparently.
Right.
So we see the Joker has wrought his wrath against this particular individual, and he has been inundated with the Joker toxin. So as we move down, unless anyone else wants to elaborate on those panels.
No.
Perfect follow up to Red Hood being the last one, and
Right.
then we see the Red Hood.
Right.
As a beginning to the story. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So we see Commissioner Gordon, and I cannot remember the guy's name.
Bullock.
Harvey
Harvey
Bullock.
Bullock. That's
Harvey
right.
Bullock.
Because he was a cartoon. He was in the animated series, and then they put him in the comic. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically they're trying to find out what's going on, because as we see in that right hand panel, we got 3 blokes dressed up like the Red Hood, and apparently they have died, according to the investigation. Each one of these individuals died because of Joker toxin, and they're actually trying to figure out in the left hand panel, how can the Joker be at 3 places at the same time?
Right.
So they start building that whole premise on the 3 Jokers in this panel, and they're going over everything that happened in the other 2 cases. But what struck me with this one is the actual ferocity and savagery of the second Joker. When you look where it on the right hand side where it says anyone could put on a green wig and white paint. That's how the Joker escaped Arkham half a dozen times. Now cutting out the tongue of a comedian with a butter knife on a live stream. Y'all realize how dull a butter knife is?
Man.
And how much pressure you have to apply to cut something, especially flesh.
Nothing about that had to be fun or easy going for
Plastic knives are sharper than butter knives.
Right.
That dude is utterly, the second one is just straight up sadistic, man.
Hey, did y'all notice that Harvey Bullock has to be one of the worst detectives in the world?
Oh,
Because
man.
he is literally kneeling in the chemicals.
Yeah.
Just don't care. It is what it is. And if I'm a die, I'm a die.
No gloves on either. So just screw CSI. No gloves on, touching the helmet.
That 45 treatment right there.
Well, apparently he's dumbfounded, but he like a oafish kind of dude in the cartoon as well?
Yeah.
Like he wasn't that smart in the cartoon, so I guess that fits his character. So, but
and he's smoking.
Yep.
Smoking at the crime scene.
The ash falling, that Joker toxin, and all of them will be going to the upper room.
Call it a wrap.
Hey, at least they'll die with a smile on their face.
So during this particular conversation between Bullock and Jim Gordon, they're pretty much tossing back and forth how all of this could have happened, what took place with the 3 guys that's laying down. They're under the impression that the Joker, of course, are giving them hints in regards to leaving those individuals the way that he did and dressed them the way that he dressed them. Anybody got any input they want to put in on this particular panel?
Not really.
Now, one thing I do like though, if you look right up under this panel right here at Batman's suit, y'all catch the Tim Burton Batman vibes from that?
Yeah, because look, you've got the right in here where the cape overlaps. Then there's the buckle, the lining, the way the ribs look, and then the bat symbol itself. Yep.
And the short ears.
That's an '89 Batman look.
Yep.
See, I wouldn't know
So,
that. We talking about Colossus suit or something. Yeah, yeah, I can pick out that. That's not the real suit, but y'all know these types of things. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is an homage, apparently, to the '89 Tim Burton Batman. But anyway,
which
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
which really works because when you think about the Joker that committed this crime, it
yep.
was the Jack Nicholson version of the Joker that committed this crime. And then here we are with Batman wearing the 1989 Tim Burton Batman suit
Yep.
that Joker appeared, the movie that Joker appeared. Yeah, so it all just it's right there.
Folks, we're
All
gonna
right.
end this conversation right here because I mean, it's incredible because when I'm reading the story, I'm just reading the story. But I mean, you all are more eagle-eyed than I am. This stuff is gonna jump out at you. But this is amazing, man. But needs to say, Jim Gordon is there talking. Batman, he knew Batman was behind him. Batman's gonna shed some light on this insanity. And I believe in the next panel, Batman starts to explain. Well, no, he didn't. He actually allowed Jim Gordon. No, is that Jim Gordon or Harvey Bullock?
That's Gordon right there, and that's
Okay,
Bullock back that way.
okay, so Bullock is actually talking, and as the panel, as it advances to the next panel, Batman is walking up towards the allegedly deceased victims, and he's looking and he's asserting and he's doing his deductions and stuff, and he started to do what he does best, along with whoop and tail, and that's deducing or detective work. So he comes to find out that the fingerprints were burnt off by the chemicals that bleached his skin. They wouldn't be able to identify him because it corrupted the DNA. And I thought this was really macabre over the fact that the Joker toxin, I didn't know that it broke their jaws. Like, that's how
Yeah,
they smile.
Yep. Yep.
I'm like, wow,
Yep.
that has got to be some excruciating, like intolerable pain for you not only to be subjected to some type of bioweapon, but for it to actually break your jaw muscles to where your jaw is permanently affixed until it's actually repaired. That is incredible. But
And apparently it detoxifies your gums too. Like all
really,
their gums are pink. Look at them.
oh
mm-hmm.
yeah, that's
Those are
right.
perfect gums.
That
Good
is
gracious,
incredible.
you die with the best teeth in the world, boy. Ain't that something?
So in this panel here on the right, it says the Joker, like the Joker, they're unidentifiable. So they don't know if they're actually members of the crime family that he allegedly killed or what. So, yeah, that Joker, man, he is an
Yeah.
evil dude, man. So we move on, and Bullock is pretty much asking what he feel or what Batman thinks about it, and he's doing some more detective work, stating that they were more than likely homeless, but he's not actually talking to them. As we progress, we find out he's talking to Batgirl.
Right. I love this because it's such a Batman thing that he just completely dismisses all the police standing around wondering what's going on, and just goes into that Batman zone of figuring out for himself what's happening, and not even worried about answering any of their questions.
Right.
Doesn't care if they think he's going crazy and he's talking to himself or anything. Like, he's just
You
like, whatever.
you notice who doesn't bother him though?
Jim Gordon.
Jim Gordon. Yep. Cause Jim Gordon knows he like, hey, this is what he does. This is
Uh,
this is what he do.
the look on Jim's face right here in this last panel as he looks at Bullock when he's just like, yep, I think old Bats is finally cracking up. And Jim's just like, shut up, Harvey.
He's like, shut the fuck up.
But that look on his face is just like, shut up, Harvey.
He's
You're
like, go
bothering
get
the man.
another cup of Joe.
Let the man
Go
work. You're bothering him.
go eat another donut or something.
Smoke another cigar.
Right, right. Go. Matter of fact, don't even stand in the chemical. Just lay face first in.
Just take off his trench coat and wallow in it. Just
Right. Just
30 seconds, man.
I kind of wish you'd start dressing like Rorschach anyway. Just take that off and go lay in it.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go.
Just figure your face.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically Batman's doing his thing, and as mentioned or alluded earlier, he's talking to Batgirl and he's giving her the skinny on the next page or the next set of panels. Well, actually, yep. Because if we go on to the far right, we don't see
Yep.
her, but she's up top looking down at a vat of not really chemicals in the vat, but there's going to be residuals of the chemicals.
But can we talk for a second?
That middle
Let's
panel is like the button.
if we go back up, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 police officers standing around investigating this scene. None of them, because of they're all focused on the bodies. None of them noticed the tire treads. Not 8 police officers. Ain't nobody noticed it. Or that the vat is empty, as you said. Al, when we go down, we see Batgirl here, and then we see the entire vat is empty. They're just
Right.
like, who are the dead guys? Forget the fact that maybe something got stolen,
Right.
Right.
or that maybe. I mean, all of you have been on the police force for a decent amount of time. Obviously, you've all. The only way I figure you decide to be a police officer in Gotham is if you grew up there. Nobody transfers to Gotham to be a police officer.
Unless you're Jim Gordon.
Unless you're Jim Gordon. And so then you know of the Joker. Why are any of you impressed by the 3 dead guys on the ground? There's bound to be something else you should be paying attention to.
You should be used to a dead guy with a smile on his face.
Right.
Right. All things considered, that and fish, which we'll get to in a little bit. But
Right.
So yeah, so Batgirl is observing everything from top, and she alludes to the fact that this is where the Joker was born, and from here she makes the superhero landing.
I was thinking that too, superhero landing.
Hey, did y'all see what I was talking about with the button on the previous panel?
Yep.
Like if you there you go, right there.
Right there.
Yeah, that is all the button
Yep.
from early Rebirth.
Yep. Flash and
Lenticular.
Batman crossover. Yep.
Yep. The what led into the Doomsday Clock.
Yep. I noticed they all have the same type of gloves. I didn't notice that before until I just looked at Batman's gloves here with the ribbing and the texturing on the outside of the gloves, and Batgirl's got the same type of gloves there. Which is one of those connection things. It's like, if you know your Batgirl history, she started out just like using leftover stuff from GCPD's evidence labs, but eventually when she became official under Batman, her suit got made by the same people who made his boot, his boots and everything.
Her boots with the bat.
Yeah, look at her boots with the bat logo. Yep.
Yeah.
I've never noticed that. Or was it just for this comic?
She doesn't always have them. Sometimes she does, sometimes she does not. Depends on the outfit.
Gotcha.
So what we see, Batgirl is doing the superhero pose.
The superhero landing.
Yeah. And Harvey Bullock is chiming in regards to what they have been discussing this whole time. And it appears that the Joker is purposely setting these things in motion for someone to notice what he's done. Now, I mean, from what I understand, the Joker always has done that, but apparently there's a reason why all 3 of these particular crimes were done and performed in the way they were, to set up a bigger picture when it comes down to the 3 Jokers and their plans. So moving on down a little bit,
it's almost Riddler-esque.
Right.
Like he wants to get caught. You know what I'm saying? He's leaving these clues that he knows that not just Batman, but like we said earlier, the main 3 people that he has affected the most. So you got Batman, Batgirl, and Jason Todd, because he knows those 3 are not going to give up on pursuing what they see out there. So I'm digging this even more, as you all can already tell.
Yeah, Chris.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things that it's great. They're talking about. It's like it's just like you said. He's like, what are you saying? That he wanted to be seen on tape? It's like, yes, everything he's done. He made sure, the Joker individually, when the Joker has done crimes, he may not have always wanted to be seen and wanted Batman to figure out that it was him behind whatever it was he was doing. But whereas with this, he purposely wanted to be seen. Each one of them needed to be seen doing the crimes that they were doing in order to make Batman and everyone else question even more, how is he doing what he's doing? Because all three of these things happened at proverbially the same time by three different versions of the Joker, and all of them have to be real because all of them were seen by eyewitnesses or on camera, happening. So it's just like you said, it's kind of that Riddler thing of leaving these clues to get them to all find out what's going on. It's back to the year of jokes and the war of jokes and riddles. It's kind of that kind of thing that he's bringing on.
X.
I'm right there with him. Right there with him. I just had to catch myself from reading again. My bad. My bad. I'm listening, but I was looking
It's
at
such a
the
great
next one.
story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's some stuff I'm gonna talk about when we get there. Y'all will know. I'm pretty sure Chris has noticed it too. But I'll talk about it when we get there.
Right.
Okay. Cool. So basically, a little bit more communication between Bullock and Batgirl, and they're putting the pieces together as to what's happening. Um, Batman, of course, with his detective prowess, has indicated that with the three bodies, being that the vat is empty of any type of chemicals, that they were actually killed. The three individuals laying on the ground were killed uh, in the vat before it was drained. And he alludes to the fact that it was a similar mixture to the one that created the Joker. And of course, with the Joker, he is pretty much a terrorist that believes in mass killing in many cases. So he's, for the most part, whenever he does something, he goes all out with it. He does not spare any expense. So whatever he's planning on doing with the chemicals is going to be on a large scale. So at this point, we see in the right-hand panel that there's some laughter that comes out of nowhere. And as we move forward, we find out that one of the individuals is still alive.
There's always at least one.
So what happens? They, of course, call paramedics, and they start the process of getting the survivor to the hospital.
The way that dude's face is structured at the top panel when he's laughing looks very similar to the Joker in The Killing Joke.
Yeah.
Like it looks almost identical to him when he came out of the chemical vat and started laughing for the first time as a Joker.
That's
Like I
very
just
true.
saw that just then. That's not even what I was looking at earlier, what I was going to talk about, but it's amazing. This little stuff that pops up.
Chris?
Yeah, I mean that's now that you mention it, because I missed that one too. But you're right. Like that's when he first comes out, and yeah. Now see now, I gotta scroll back up because now I'm wondering if looking at their faces, if each one of them looked like each individual Joker. Like looking back at their faces, seeing their facial structures, like yeah, because he's got the wispy hair. I mean, none of them are bald, but still, like each one of them has like some small features that are like each individual Joker,
Mm-hmm.
and he just happens to be the one that stayed alive. So his features, got more predominant because obviously,
Right.
he wakes up and starts laughing, so you see the outcome of his face and everything. So you see it more. But that, yeah. Although, and I also wonder, I think it's odd. One of the things I just noticed, I wonder if that is Marie Montoya, the only female detective that they ever really ever talk about in Batman. If and also the only
Right.
one with an umbrella. Um,
Right. Right.
if if that is actually Marie Montoya right there.
She's also the only one that doesn't have a hat that has a
A brim.
25-mile radius brim on it.
Maybe that's why nobody else has an umbrella because nobody else is worried about the rain getting into their eyes.
Like the brim is literally out to their shoulders.
Adequate protection, baby. That's what it's all about. Maria
They
Montoya.
got no hats from I'm gonna get you sucker.
Yeah. Montoya, didn't she become the second question?
Yes, she did.
Yes, she did.
She dated Batwoman for a while, also.
Okay.
Yep. Very underrated character that was severely misused in the Birds of Prey movie. Rosie Perez shouldn't have played a 20-year-old police detective. But that's a whole nother story.
I yo, that whole movie shouldn't have been made, in my opinion. Though,
Yeah. That.
we're gonna stick to this. We're gonna
Yeah,
stick to
that's a
this.
whole nother story. Let's stick to some good writing.
Hey, maybe.
Um,
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
let's stick to some good writing. Because I don't know who wrote that movie, but hopefully they never touch a comic book in their life.
Right.
Maybe we could talk about it on like the comic call, like the worst comic book movies of all time.
Woo,
That's
that
the
is
top
like number.
10.
Yeah.
That is, I don't know. That and Steel
That's,
might be tied for number one.
oh, oh, that hurt.
Shaq Diesel.
Ray J
All
and Shaft.
right. Yeah, we're gonna stick to some
We're
good
gonna move
Jeff
it on.
Johns. Jeff
Some
Johns
good Jeff
right.
Johns.
So the surviving Joker, or the surviving individual that was doused with the Joker toxin, he is pushed into the ambulance. Not pushed, but he's actually put in the ambulance, and then all the while he's laughing and he can't stop laughing. They got him secured, and it's the crazy thing about this. The second time I read this, well, the third time I read this, I didn't take note of the individual that was actually just standing back there looking like he's about to Hulk out. It didn't dawn on me that was going to be a little plot twist at this particular point, but it is.
Not gonna lie, I thought that was a Joker. But
Really?
I thought it may have been a Joker in the back. Because that's one of those things he kind of likes to do.
Yeah. Well, I was
Hey,
under the impression it was an EMT worker. Go ahead, X. Go ahead.
that's Chris. You almost where I'm gonna go to. Like where I'm going. You touching on it. You touching on it. You scratching the surface.
Yeah, they get him loaded.
Okay. So we get to where everybody's getting ready to leave the scene.
When doves cry.
As you reveal my stomach, feel how it trembles inside. So Batman indicated that he was going to escort the ambulance to the hospital. On the way to the comedian's crime scene to see his tongue cut out with a butter knife. And Jim Gordon,
I don't know if sorry, but I don't know if you caught this one, X. But this middle panel here, to me, is straight throwback 66 Batman, somewhere around the 4th, 5th season when they introduced Batgirl, and she had her bat cycle, and she got added to the opening cinematic of the show. And there's a scene where she's riding, and she rides toward the screen on her bat cycle, and it had the same kind of bat-shaped wings, on the side, and the one headlight in the front on the motorcycle. This is just like an upgraded version of that, is what it looks like.
I didn't pick up on that, but what I did pick up on was it looks just like the Purple Rain homage cover.
The Purple Rain Batgirl cover. I have that.
Right.
The movie cover. Yeah,
Right.
definitely. Yep.
I want that cover.
That cover.
I do too. I do too.
It is a beautiful cover.
Yeah.
I snagged all the movie covers.
Oh, you got the mask with the Joker?
I got the mask with the Joker. I got the Harry Potter. I got the Superfly Superman cover.
What about the End of the Dragon with
Into the
Dick
Dragon
Grayson?
Grayson cover, got that one
Oh
too.
man, I want that one so
I
bad.
snagged every one of
Golly.
See, ladies and gentlemen, these are our resident Batman of files or whatever you call it. I'm just along for the ride. You know what I'm saying? So,
them.
you know,
This is those are DC's hip hop variants. You know
yeah,
what I'm
Right.
saying?
They're movie variants that they did. They're
Right.
amazing movie variants. If you can find any of them, I think they put some of them out in a poster book. So even if you can't find the issue, if you can find the poster book and get the poster, go ahead and do that and put it up because they are amazing covers. They did a Breakfast Club Justice League. They
The
did
Titans as
oh
the
yeah, with the
Lost
Titans.
Boys.
Yeah, I got that one too. The Lost
I
Boys
got
Titan
that one.
cover.
Yeah, I got
Yep.
that one.
Amazing Warner Brothers movies that are their covers are they use the characters to recreate those covers, and it's
I
my
didn't even think about that. I did not even think about that. Those are all Warner
all
Brothers
Warner Brother
movies.
movies.
Yep.
Yep.
Good call. Good call.
well, in addition to the Three Jokers conversation, you all are getting some insight on comic books to actually pull. So you're getting a 2-for-1 special tonight,
Twofer.
folks. 2-for-1.
Batman
So
knowledge is upgrade.
there's gonna be increased 100-fold. Well, not probably not 100-fold, but you'll learn some stuff. But at this particular point in the comic, this is where the 89,000 octane gets ramped up.
Woo.
This right here is like watching. I can't even think of an action movie, but this is like watching an action movie right before the one of the dopest action scenes start in
Mm-hmm.
the movie. So we see the ambulance, the Bat Cycle with Batgirl and the Batmobile in front. They are escorting the ambulance to the hospital.
That Michael Keaton Batmobile.
Right.
Uh,
Dang, it sure is.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
the
wow.
'89
That is
Batmobile
Yes, it
crazy.
is.
in the '89 suit.
Yep.
That is
Yep.
insane. See, this is, man, I'm telling you, this is crazy. So, all this nostalgia and stuff going on. So we see them escorting the ambulance, and all the while, Batgirl is saying she's not gonna let Joker hurt nobody no more, and they keep it moving. And during this particular scene, Jim Gordon, a couple of panels earlier, had asked Batgirl if she needed a ride. She told him that she didn't need a ride. So that's the reason why Batman, of course, is asking her, does he know you're Batgirl? And she says, of course not, as disturbed by tonight as we are, Bruce. Well, he was, meaning Commissioner Gordon.
Right.
Whenever the Joker is involved, we all prepare for the worst, and we've been through the worst. What kind of look do you expect? Then, bam! All of a sudden,
Worst father, worst detective in the world.
I like to think that Jim Gordon knows. I'm not gonna lie.
If he didn't realize after she got shot by the Joker, something is wrong.
yeah,
Right.
maybe he's in
You know what I'm
denial.
saying?
Well, he assumed the Joker shot her because he was police commissioner. That was his assumption about why she got shot. It was all his fault.
Yeah, but you didn't notice that Batgirl disappeared for a long time.
No, his daughter was crippled. He wasn't worried about Batgirl.
Yeah, clearly, clearly. And then as soon as his daughter could walk again, Batgirl showed back up.
Coincidence.
You know what, man? Arguing that comic book logic is the same thing we talk about Clark Kent and Superman. Like,
True,
I mean,
true. It's the same thing.
It's not, because I actually know how to explain that one.
It's the swirl.
It's not the swirl.
It's the swirl of his hair. It's the little pip.
That swirl is not.
It's put on the opposite side of his forehead when he put the glasses on, so it changed his whole identity.
Visage.
And it's another one of his Kryptonian powers that seem to find a new one every single volume.
But see, that whole Jim Gordon thing, I don't think it was
He's
unless
mesmerizing.
unless a writer comes to explore that particular aspect of the story, I don't think it'll ever be explained. But this is
in a few comics, they've done it, and he holds Bruce directly responsible for once he finds out that Barbara is Batgirl. him and Batman and as their relationship gets a little rocky because he holds him responsible for putting his daughter in danger, and like he kind of just steps away from using Batman's help for a while
Didn't he
before he
put out
can
a
come to
warrant
grips with
for
it.
him at one point?
At one point, yep,
Yeah.
Hey, poor Bruce.
yeah.
That those two
So,
words never well, those two phrases put together should never be poor Bruce.
Bruce ain't never gonna be
Nah,
poor
well, we're
ain't
not
never gonna be poor.
we're not talking about in terms of money. We're talking about
Oh,
financially.
in terms of mindset.
Emotionally, he broke.
Right.
yeah.
Exactly. Poor
Broke,
mental
broken,
mental
Insufficient
shattered.
funds.
poor mental Bruce. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Doggone.
Insufficient
What is
funds.
it? Cremated.
Right.
Ain't no putting that back together.
No. Okay.
But yeah, here we see the dudes in the ambulance.
It's dudes in the ambulance. And one thing that I didn't understand about this, I understand Jason Todd. I mean, because that's of course going to be the reveal in the next few panels. Why did he unhook him to
Cause
choke
he
him?
wanted to snatch him.
I'm just
Right.
saying though, like if you
Cause he
were just
wanted to snatch him.
my thing is this though, if you're in a position where you're trying to get information, why are you unhooking the man? I mean, he could choke him without the dude resisting. I'm just saying. That I didn't understand, but maybe it's because he's just so focused in trying to get that information, he's not thinking correctly.
Cause he drank the juice out the
You
Lazarus
can't
pit.
you can't get a good you can't draw that doesn't look as cool when they're laying down. That's why. That doesn't look as good.
That I agree.
Look,
He could have lifted him up in the gurney though, but
look at his outfit. Look at the Red Hood's outfit. Like scroll down so you can see the whole thing.
Yep.
Tell me you don't think of death of the family when you see that outfit right there.
The janitor outfit
Yes.
when the Joker had his face cut off by the doll
Yes.
maker and
Yes.
he wore the janitor outfit the entire
Mm-hmm.
time. Yep.
Yep.
But you know what it's also reminiscent of? Even though it doesn't have it's not a female version, but because it's an EMT outfit, it is also very reminiscent of Heath Ledger as the Joker in Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah. Dark Knight.
Oh yeah, in Dark Knight, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's
I might
kind of yeah.
I got you. I
It's
got you.
kind of reminiscent of that kind of too. He's dressed as a nurse. You know, he's got that whole. It's kind of that he's holding the Joker, but he's dressed as a nurse, just like the Joker did, like when he went to see Two-Face in the
Right.
hospital. Like,
But you
yeah,
basically have two Joker outfits in the same panel.
mm-hmm.
So at the end of book 2, where they're trying to go, but I think I know what's going to end up happening at the end of book 3. Especially after seeing everything, we're not spoiling anything. This is just assumption by me mainly.
Speculation.
But yeah, there you go. But man, that right there, I was like, look at this. Like everything started flashing through my mind when I saw that outfit right there.
Yeah.
so we see the Red Hood accosting the innocent individual dressed up with pills all about. And then we have a cameo of a black man as the
They do
EMT
exist in
driver.
Gotham.
They exist in Gotham.
What the
What the hell? So
Right.
It's the guys on the road, man.
he's basically like bewildered as to what's going on, trying to figure out what's going on, not having his eyes on the road, which is dangerous. And as a result, he runs into the side of the Batmobile. All the while, the Red Hood clone is laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing. And then
Which had to do more damage to the ambulance than it did the Batmobile.
yeah.
Like
by far.
by far.
So Batman and Batgirl trying to figure out what's happening. So they got like a little, Fast and Furious scene going on the freeway. So as we move on, unless anybody else has anything to say about this panel.
No, I'm good.
Okay. So we can move forward.
Notice one little thing is the
This was cool.
Batmobile changed from the top view. If you scroll up a little bit, It don't look
Yeah,
like Tim Burton's anymore.
but it does right there though, because it's got the
Right,
same hood
right.
design there for the canopy.
So they just throwing a whole bunch of Easter eggs and whatnot in this book. I like them.
I
Cool.
love this. This is. I would love to see this in an animated movie. This whole
Just
scene.
this same, yeah.
Yeah, the Batmobile pulling behind the ambulance and Batman jumping on top, and then him just yippee ki and into the back of the ambulance.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
not Die Hard.
right. He just yippee ki into the ambulance. I didn't even know ambulance doors could go in. I always thought they opened
I
out.
didn't either.
See, that's the thing you all are failing to realize. This is Batman. This only works for Batman. Don't work for
Right.
anybody else.
He can rip 1,000 pounds on bench. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Right.
So I mean,
So kicking in ambulance doors is nothing.
he could
You
probably
know,
squat by the ton if he could bench
Right.
1,000 pounds because the
no,
legs
he don't
stronger
even
than the
need a
arm.
Batmobile. He just jump. He like the Hulk.
Basically, well, he super
He-
kicked that door. I'm telling you, the next panel,
Batman smash. Like just
if that door had feelings, boy, it'd be
he'd be
dead. Boy,
hurt.
yeah,
He straight up Luke Cage that door though for real. So,
and this scene right here is just like Batman 608, the B cover.
Mm,
I mean the A cover.
that Jim Lee Batman pose.
Right.
Hmm.
so he gets in the ambulance, and lo and behold, to his surprise, he finds out that the culprit of all this shenanigans is Red Hood. What the hell are you doing? Red Hood looks at him and says, "I'm getting information." Batman says, "Why? You attacking victims? He's been poisoned by the Joker. If you mess with him any further, you gonna kill him. Let him go." Now Hood. So then they get into a little minor scuffle.
Only
When you
them two
said
would.
that, you read that out loud like you done had this conversation with your parents before several times. Tell us now Hood.
Now Hood.
Not Red Hood. Nah, I'm telling you, if you don't go on, you don't lay down. You don't lay your ass down. I'm gonna give you something to cry about.
Only them two would fight in that. I've been in the back of an ambulance. There ain't that much room.
I have to, and yeah, you're right. The ambulance is like a little small. It's like a bread box for humans almost. So
Yeah, and they back in here scuffing it out. Just
I mean, he was trained by the League of Assassins,
there is that. That's very true.
and Jason Todd was kind of risen from the dead by Ra's al Ghul.
yeah,
Yeah.
Kind of.
that's true.
I
All
don't
we
know
need
why
now is Damien.
right. I don't know why I enjoy the fact that they put in the gas tank on the bat cycle for Batgirl.
Attention to detail, man, is always
Yeah.
a good thing. Always a good thing. But they also added
But
a couple of extra gadgets too.
but you see that it's 3/4 full, and they've been riding for a good minute.
She wrote it
Like she,
there.
right?
And
She had to ride the bike there and follow the ambulance.
Man, y'all know Bruce Wayne got that premium. They got gas. They only selling
Premium.
premium, super
that's good
premium.
gas mileage. That's
That's not. Nah, that ain't good gas, man. He got clone gas. The gas tank got nanites in it.
Right. Then she moving at 80. She moving at 80 and about to take out the wheels of an ambulance.
One-handed.
One hand.
one-handed.
Boy, I tell you.
With a click.
With one click.
Click.
Nah, an
What
ambulance
kind of
is probably-
radio is that?
We don't talk about those things.
Yeah.
Don't-
That's that old school. What's the game we used to play? They had Madden, Street
ColecoVision
Fighter,
stuff. Just
I know you're talking about them handheld Tiger.
Bases Loaded.
we don't talk about that. That radio is right up there with the questions like when you watch Batman the animated series and you wondered why billionaire Bruce Wayne had a 52-inch black and white TV in his living room.
Nostalgia, baby.
It was thick too. Oh, it was thick.
That's the biggest black and white TV I've ever seen in my life. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
that TV probably 16K and we don't even know it, man.
$1 million computer buried under the house. 52-inch black and white
Resolution
TV
or
in the living
gold?
room.
So what?
Resolution of gold.
Everything.
Woo.
That's Bruce Wayne, man.
That's Bruce Wayne, baby. Black and white. I'm bringing it back.
That TV probably upgrade itself from 4K to 8K every
Hey
year.
man, if Tony Stark can have a big circular device in the middle of his sternum without killing himself,
Bruce
hey,
Wayne can have a giant black and white TV.
anything is possible. Right.
True.
You got a magnet that makes the shrapnel not go in your heart, but this thing is going straight through your heart.
The science.
At Marvel science.
Man,
Doctor Strange was the surgeon.
it's the science, man.
But yeah, she's about to take out the wheel.
It's about to take out
Yeah.
the wheel with her little doohickey that come out of the peg, and then it shatters and shreds up the ambulance to slow it down. So fade to black.
No, that didn't slow down the ambulance. Like if she was doing, if she was doing 80, the
She
ambulance
would've
had to
got
be doing 80.
destroyed.
They've had to fade to black because that ambulance had the front end flip.
Chris, potato. The goal was to slow the thing down, man.
That thing would have sucked all her leg in.
She stopped it. All right. Slow down, stop. Same thing.
X is science.
Pop. I love the pop. Like
And then the E, like all the air just come out, like, which a tire realistically wouldn't say E when it popped. It just pops and all the air just come gushing out. But needless to say, we fade to black, and
tire flatlined.
once we actually get back to reality, it switches screens. It switches scenes.
Huge
Oh,
transition
Rocket.
here.
Very huge.
Oh,
screens.
Rocket.
So we see a raccoon attempting to cross the road, and he sees some headlights, and they are gleaming in his eyes. And there's a big semi coming. So apparently he was out of the way, but the driver of the vehicle said, "No, son."
You don't get off that easy.
I'm just saying, like, that was very cruel. Like, you just made it your habit. You just made it your business to just to end this raccoon's life for no particular reason. Or that's the assumption, because he swerved over into the lane, and it looks like from the back of his head that the raccoon is about to meet his doom. Which he did meet his doom. Well, no, he got away. He got away.
We don't really see. Like it kind of.
Yeah,
just
it's not an implication. You're right.
Right.
Let's just hope Rocket got away, or Rocky.
I love that they can show dudes getting curb stomped on tombstones, but we can't see a raccoon potentially getting run over.
Man, Peter be all over that comic book. They done pulled the comic book for that, and then the copies that we got to be worth about $60 because a raccoon got struck. You know what I'm saying?
No animals were harmed in the making of this comic book.
Hey man, you know that's the environment we live in.
Think about how much the damn one was worth because they showed a penis.
Batman's peen.
His pen 15.
Yeah.
All right. So while we were looking at these particular panels, we see some green slime from Nickelodeon on the ground. No, it's not green slime. If you put two and two together, it would have been the chemicals that were at the chemical plant. And we have a big old panel with the 18-wheeler and a whole bunch of laughing. Like, this dude is laughing heartily, like he just on top of the world. So we progress on while the tractor is driving. You see chemicals coming out the back. So we know what happened with the chemicals that they were talking about during the investigation. That Ace
found the missing truck.
Found the missing truck, and we
obeying the laws of the road.
With the left-hand turn signal, the manual left-hand turn signal,
right,
by none other than presumably the Joker
himself.
So he makes it to the destination, still spewing out the chemicals, and he gets to eventually he gets to a cabin.
Cabin in the woods.
Yep, cabin in the woods. So when he gets to this cabin, He's doing his little laugh, and he's kind of calmed down a little bit from all the boisterous laughing while he was on the road. And he gets to the cabin. He's enjoying himself. What a life to be crazy as hell.
Mm-hmm.
I would not want to know what that life is like.
Not even remotely.
So he gets to the door, knocks on it. He looks in. He got a toothpick in his mouth. He's actually playing the role of a trucker up with the cap and everything. I laughed at this whole. I brought some roadkill home to grill. That was funny to me. But then when he opens the door, we got the shiny-eyed Joker
Mm-hmm.
with his Hawaiian Sophie shirt on. So they basically,
Puppet Master.
So what now?
Like Spike or whatever it was called from the Puppet Master.
Yeah. He does.
Mm-hmm.
So you got banter going on between two of the Jokers, and corny jokes are being told. So
Daddy joke.
for the most part, and it looks like at this point they're what's the word I'm looking for? They're actually going by the monikers that were given to them at the beginning of the comic book.
Yep.
You comedians taking all the credit for everyone's work. I guess that's just a way to differentiate the two. And then, by the way, that's my shirt, your shirt. Who's taking credit for things they didn't do? My greatest act of madness thus far, but nothing compared to us for what's next. And that greatest act of madness would have been Barbara Gordon getting shot.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got that he was alluding to.
Yeah, me
But
too.
what he's saying, of course, is that what they're actually coming up with now is going to trump all of that. So you get another bubble on the side. He thinks he's the boss, and then
One of us has to be.
oh, I didn't see that because I got it blocked.
That's a real animated Joker is in the middle though.
One of
Yeah.
us has to be okay.
And the hat he's wearing in the far left corner, if I'm not mistaken, the Large Marge Trucking
Pee Wee
is
Big
Pee Wee's
Adventure.
Big Adventure.
Yep.
Yep, Large
Yep.
Marge.
Large
It,
Marge.
Tell him Large Marge sent you, and
Sent you.
that went over my head too, man. Golly. So they're making references to Pee Wee Herman. Okay.
I mean, he was
a comedian.
well, he was a comedian, but he was also the Penguin's father.
Yeah, and Tim Burton's Batman Returns.
Oh my
Mhm.
God. Okay.
Yep.
Well, this
He was
book is rife with Easter eggs, man. This is insane. And you know what? I didn't even pay no attention to that. Well, anyway, they're cracking jokes, and at the end of this particular panel, we see bats flying off. Both of them are just belly howling or whatever that word is, and they're just having a good old time. And then in the corner says there's only one way to stop laughter. So we move on from that to, meanwhile, back at the ambulance,
right.
Batman has a toxin antidote, as he does for everything. So he's basically attempting to save the guy's life, and it looks like it's working. And the only black man in this comic asks, is he going to be all right? Batman says as long as he remains calm, which is how the Joker toxin works. I remember that much.
Hey,
Right.
to his defense, all he does is drive. He doesn't handle the body. He just drive.
He's just a driver.
I'm not knocking him. I mean, the man is making an honest living.
And Gotham, he probably does that a lot.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he probably stay on call. Like, man,
Stay on call. He
Charged
don't
by the
never
mile.
get out.
Be like a taxi, charged by the mile, not the body.
He don't even pump his own gas. He just, hey man, look, I'm full up. You fill up. I'm out. You know the routine.
They gotta give him a day off, man, so he can spend time with the missus or whoever he's dealing with. I don't know. But anyway, so Batgirl is admonishing Tim Drake. I'm not Tim Drake, but Jason Todd. I'm sorry. And she basically trying to get in his head. And I like this whole part of this banter between them because it actually gives some credence to some stuff that happens in issue 2. But basically,
Mm-hmm.
thinking he should find the Joker before he kills anyone else. And it appears at this point in time, well, it does. I mean, we find this out later on, um, that Jason Todd doesn't realize there's more than one Joker at play. So, during this particular conversation, Batgirl basically trying to find out what's your problem, what's your issue. So Jason Todd says intel from Joker's thugs told me the minute the Joker picked up halfway house, rap sheet, domestic assault, and he showed mercy on the dude. He didn't throw him out of the ambulance, and then here comes Batman.
Yep.
And if
I,
y'all want, go ahead,
I
go ahead.
I noticed that looking at this now, like, because again, it's one of those things I missed when I was reading it. But Jason, this actual representation of Jason here and on the far right panel, if you look at an X, this Jason's face looks just like Jason's face from Jim Lee's Hush.
Yes, I noticed that, and I also noticed that he's a lot younger. So
Yeah.
that was more so Clayface
Mm-hmm.
Jason Todd instead of actual Jason Todd.
Jason Todd,
So
right?
yeah,
But yeah, it looks, again, it's another throwback to Jason, and the slight, it's not actually
the
gray,
gray
but it
streak.
kind of looks gray. So
Yeah,
that, it's that throwback to Hush right there, and it's just like, okay, I feel you. I see what you're doing. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Like,
you
So
notice that he looks like old school Dick Grayson with Nightwing when he had the super mullet right there.
yeah,
super,
Disco Grayson.
super.
Right, right. But he was like super swole.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was a point in the comments, Al, when Dick Grayson was like Conan size.
He was
Like
brolic.
Captain America buff.
Pretty much, yeah, he was. Yeah. Except he was shaped like strong guy.
Oh no, from
Yeah.
Yeah,
Six Pack.
He
yeah,
wasn't that big, but he was shaped like that. Like he was roided out all up about it and never did he skilled leg day every day.
every day.
I mean,
Yeah.
strong guy had an excuse, man. That was just using power. I don't think. I don't know why somebody would purposely want to look like that, but hey,
Matter of fact,
Yeah.
if you just put a shield right here,
Right.
it
Right.
might be, it could be Bucky. Uh,
Right. True story.
Captain Puerto Rico.
Is that a glove or his hand? Because I see a fingernail.
it looks like a glove. He had on
Yeah,
gloves.
he had on gloves, but those are some tight gloves because
Right.
that does look like a fingernail. Yeah,
Right.
Those are those rubber surgical gloves. He didn't want to get no Joker toxin on it.
right. Super tight.
Super tight. So basically, they're going back and forth, and here comes Batman. You want to talk to him, and he's basically saying you on Joker's trail before he came to Ace Chemical. Been trying to get on since he broke out of Arkham this week. So Barbara and I, various sightings tonight have verified what we've known. That is more than one Joker. He's not working alone, so neither can we. So we pan back to the cabin.
Yep.
So before
They
we
fixed
move
the
forward,
doors.
how they did that, but
They just they put a chain on it, attached it
Just,
to the Batmobile, and went in reverse.
yeah,
That's the only thing I can see.
we'll work with that. We'll work with that. So yeah, so let's see here. So he's not working alone, so neither can we. So basically, they formulated and come up with the concept that the Joker is actually teaming up with some folks. So because they've been independently investigating, they're going to join forces like Voltron. So we pan back to the cabin.
cabin.
Thank you, sir. And one of the Jokers is saying we have the chemicals and we had some fun. And what's next? And we got a bubble from the other side and go up a little higher. What we always do, boys, we try to make a better Joker.
Joker.
And that Joker right there, man, he looking like, man, I'm about to take over the earth.
He's got to be
That's
the oldest because just from the wrinkles
the
on the
wrinkles.
face,
Yeah.
yeah, he's got to be the older of
The
the.
Crow's
original
feet
one.
on his eyes.
Right,
Yeah.
he's got to be the first Joker. It's
Okay.
my assumption.
Yeah, because if you look at his lips, he got them cracks above his lips. So yeah, he does
Mm-hmm.
look rather aged and haggard, to be honest with you. So yeah.
Look at his hair.
That
Like
hairline.
on look at how like that's blood. That's or what are them things? What do they call them? Lesions.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? That's what they look like.
he's
So he
dying.
has to be the original. Yeah. That's why they're trying to create. Well, that's why they want to create more.
It's because they work better as three, and if he
Hmm.
dies, it'll just be the two of them. It's a good speculation.
Hmm. Interesting. So he's contemplating. He's telling the other two jokers we about to get into some real business.
The steeple of power with his hands, and it's just excellent.
Yeah, that Burns,
That Mr. Burns.
Mr. Burns. So he's plotting. So we basically skip to the next page, and that's when they start discussing their plan. One of you will set up the factory while the others help me with our casting call, which we didn't know anything about what that meant until the second issue.
Right.
It's time the Joker had more meaning. You want to define things too much, my friend, but I'm giving this a whirl. Theatrics are my specialty. But I have a good eye for talent, says the failed comedian. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something, man. To be honest with you, I really like the way they set this up because even though all three of these dudes look like the Joker, each one of them have their own individual distinct look.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't say that this Joker on the left is the Joker on the right, and the Joker on the middle is the one on the left. Even though all three of them are Jokers throughout Batman history, because each one of these Jokers have looked like this in the Batman comic. So it kind of adds a little bit more congruency and continuity to the fact that there could have been three Jokers the whole time, and Batman just didn't pay attention to it. But going back to that, if that was the case, and Batman's not that great of a detective as they put off to be. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Some people do argue that maybe Batman is not the world's greatest detective, and that there are other detectives in the DC universe. Detective Chimp,
Yeah,
Ralph Dibny,
yeah.
that are potentially better detectives than Batman.
True. But this is also the only case that he's never solved.
Also true. And he had
Yeah,
help to solve it, though.
yeah,
Right.
For those that might not know, this whole story started going back to the Dark Side War in the Justice League comic books, in which all of the Justice League members basically end up becoming new gods. Your boy Shazam got a power upgrade. He became a new god. He changed, instead of the pantheon that he had, he took on new gods from the New Gods and Apocalypse from Jack Kirby's era run and got a new set of powers. Superman became the god of strength. Green Lantern combined his Green Lantern ring with the Mother Box and became the god of light. The Flash became the god of death, and Batman became the god of knowledge because he sat on Mobius's chair. And when he sat down on the chair, he asked the chair, who is the Joker?" And the chair told him that there was three of them,
Yeah, he said
which
who's
is what's
the identity what is the identity of the Joker? Yeah.
right. And it tells him that there are actually three Jokers, which is what led him to start looking at the cases that the Joker had done and realizing that there actually have been three Jokers this entire time. And it hasn't all been just one person, which led into this story. But again, that was also written by Jeff Johns. And he finally came back
Right.
around to getting that was back in 2017,
I was gonna say
2018 is when
three
that
years
story
ago, yeah.
happened. And he's finally able to come back around to, after working on Shazam and a couple other comic books, to come around to finally telling the story of the three Jokers that everybody's been wanting to have, which is what got us to where we are right now.
See, I told y'all. Knowledge. Batman knowledge is everywhere on this panel, yes.
What's 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 funny though is if you noses, all of them have very distinctive noses.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one in the middle look like
It
a
looks like it's been
boxer.
broke.
Yeah.
It's been
The one on the with the hat, he just looked like his nose go for days. You know, like he Pinocchio.
But the one in the middle works as having the broken nose and looking like a boxer because of his outfit. and his smile and his hairstyle, he looks more like the 1966 Cesar Romero Joker,
Yeah.
who did more hand-to-hand fighting with Batman.
Right.
So for his nose to be
He-
broken fits with that kind of, with everything that went on with that.
right. Now, the one that we say looks like the oldest one, it's a stretch, but to me, he just seems more Heath Ledger like. You know what I'm saying? More methodical. He's not chasing after anything, except he just wants to bring chaos. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's more of a mix of like a Heath Ledger, Jack Nicholson Joker, where he's got plans, but he's willing to actually like wait it out to see it happen. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be immediately right now, as opposed to the middle Joker, who's more of that instant gratification on the jokes and the crimes that he pulls and the punishment he's putting on people. And it's just like the one on the far right is more like, they all have their different moments. One of them is just like, gotta have it right now. Another one's like, I'm kind of patient. And the last one is just like, I can wait. Doesn't matter. I can lay plans for
Right.
years if
Right.
that's what it takes in order to get that final punchline.
Right. He wants the perfect punchline.
Right.
Yeah.
Punchline. So basically, what's going on? They're basically plotting to go put the plan in motion, and it actually came down to the Jokers wanting to actually go. I believe they want to go with the main Joker to find the other. I guess we don't know yet because we hadn't gotten the book 2.
Right.
They basically wanted to roll out with the main Joker, so he pulled out a coin to see which one will go.
Mm-hmm.
He asked him to call it, and both of them called heads at the same time. And at that particular point, both of them won. And the main Joker picked one of them to go with him, while the other one actually started the plan. So that's where we are right now. So did anyone want to expound on this?
One, I was expecting the coin to be two faces.
Yeah.
And two, I'm pretty sure it's a double-sided coin. Even though they don't show it as a Joker thing, like if they're all the Joker, he's going to know that they will call heads, and he's going to pick whoever he
Right.
wants to come with him anyway, so it doesn't really matter what they call. So then he would use a double-headed coin anyway.
And for both of them to say heads and I win at the same exact time,
Right.
it just makes sense. Yeah. That's a part of the joke.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
All ties together.
Okay. All right. So as we proceed, we are taken to the Gotham Aquarium.
Gotham should not have any chemical industries in that city ever again.
I've often wondered why Ace Chemicals is still a thing.
Right.
Because they
They
put
created
people to work.
Man, you better make like
They
dirt
create
or something.
they create jobs, man.
Don't nobody
Well,
want
they-
them jobs.
Right.
For the
They don't need to
economy.
have
No.
they don't need to have a chemical plant, nor do they need to have an aquarium or anywhere that sells fish. Those three things don't go together when you got the Joker in Gotham City.
Exactly.
Man, leave them folks alone. They got to eat.
Don't nobody want
Well,
to eat Joker fish.
they eating with a smile on their face. That's the last thing they eating is
Look here, man.
can't say they eating that.
There is no Geico or Best Buy in Gotham, okay?
Clearly. Them thing got looted a long time
A
ago.
long time ago.
No Geico.
Bat-
Go ahead.
Batman bought them out for the cave.
He paid everything. Got everything.
Yeah, let
Best
me
Buy.
get that. Just give me everything. Here you go.
You know they actually do make that joke in back in 2019 in the issue of Batman. They make the joke when Batman's chasing a car, and it's doing the whole Batman Who Laughs thing that's going on, and so he's chasing these criminals or whatever, and he's like destroying all this stuff while he's driving. And Alfred's just like, insurance companies really should offer some type of insurance against you, and Batman's like, they do. They're called Dark Knight Returns.
Heck no.
So there actually is insurance in Gotham. In case your car gets wrecked by Batman, you can get Dark Knight Returns.
I wonder how much the deduct. Your deductible probably about $5,000.
$3 million.
Man, oof.
Bankrupt. Chapter 11.
It ain't worth it. It ain't worth filing.
No, in Gotham they got another chapter called Chapter 46.
47 ain't enough.
Right.
Right.
Batman, everything in Gotham, insurance and the whole nine probably high. Gas probably like $6 a gallon in Gotham City. So everybody, I'm telling you, man, folks got to make money. I mean, come on, Batman is destroying stuff.
And this is after Bush.
So
This is after W. Bin Laden gone, and it's still $20 a gallon for regular.
Because you live in Gotham.
Because you live in Gotham.
I love this interaction in these panels between Jason and Bruce. Like, you don't see it a whole lot because, for the most part, a lot of the comics are always just like, he hates him. And Bruce, and it's always just like from Bruce's side, it's like he's just trying to love him in his own way.
Right.
And so it's great to see those. I personally always love seeing little bitty like human moments between characters in comic books, and this gives us a really cool human moment between Jason and Batman in the Batmobile. And the next panel's down. When I scroll down, then you'll see it's a great little human moment of that. They're on their way to the Gotham Aquarium because they figured out the clues or whatever, and then it's just like, are you gonna fix these seats?
Like, and it's one of the few times that where it didn't lead to a fight.
Right. There's that also. And he's just like, oh, the Batmobile's passenger seats have been small. Like you. And it's kind of one of the things like, all that money you got, and you can't make adult-sized seats in the passenger side of the Batmobile, Batman.
Hey man, the Batmobile was made for Michael Jackson. Just saying.
Just saying. But it's a great little human moment there when they're just like, oh, Barbara's just like, oh, my father used to take me here, and Jason's like, I've never been inside. What about you, Bruce? He's like, my parents built it. Was that a rhetorical question? Is there a building in Gotham that my parents didn't build?
Right.
But I love that.
Or my money didn't build.
Right, or that my money didn't build.
Right.
It's a great page that amidst the chaos, they give you these little human moments again with them to show you that even though, in the previous page we saw Barbara was angry with him and Bruce was angry with him and they were kind of having heated words, that they're still family. They're still friends. They still love each other in their own ways, no matter whatever else is actually still going on. I personally loved this page being in the comic.
But I also sat there and said, why would he even ask Bruce that though? Of all people, why you asked Dick that question, not Bruce. You know what I'm saying? Hey, did you ever go here? No? Oh, okay.
Alfred ever bring you to the aquarium, Bruce?
Right, right.
You see the fishies?
You know what though? He never said yes or no.
Yeah,
he just said his parents built it.
He still never answered the question.
Right.
That bat dodge.
Yeah, your parents built it, but did you go?
Right, but the ultimate deflection right there, boy.
Right.
It reached into the utility belt and brought out the bat dodge.
The bat evade.
The bat evade. My parents built it.
So they actually make their way into, looking at my comic book, into the aquarium, and Batman does the most Batmanish thing.
Man. Of all the gadgets, of all the things you could have had.
But you know what though? That's the ultimate retcon right there. You remember when they retconned and said that's why the symbol was yellow because it could be seen, it was a light, and then all of a sudden he made a light behind it.
It was it was a target. He made it a target on purpose to make people aim for it when they're shooting at him, which is why that area is more reinforced than the rest. And now he turned it into
blame.
A bright light.
Right, he just the shining heart of Gotham. Like, oh.
I mean, it's more functional than Iron Man's chest piece.
Oh, that unibeam's pretty functional.
He only used it once.
That is true.
So Red Hood and Batman are having dialogue. How many times has someone been Jokerized and driven mad? This isn't any different. Talk about men and women who are dosed with vicious toxin and lost control of themselves. The evidence collected so far, the three Jokers tonight were very much in control. They seem to have motives, even if they aren't clear yet.
I'm gonna be right back, okay?
Alrighty. So Jason makes a rib at the black light.
Another human moment. What's clear is that new black light is just gonna alert everybody. Like you do realize, Bruce, you're walking around with a flashlight on your chest, just so you're clear about things.
I thought that was really cool because I mean, for his suit to be pretty much a weapon in itself, I mean, with all the gadgetry that he carries, it makes sense to have something like that. I mean, because how awkward would it be for him to just pull out a flashlight? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he's done it before, but it definitely works better. It keeps his hands free.
Exactly. So, I mean, if he's in a precarious situation where he's totally in the dark and somebody attacks him, I mean, I'm pretty sure he can handle himself with a flashlight in his hand, but just to be hands free. You know what I'm saying? Plus, the practicality of it is pretty cool. He probably just hit something on his belt and turn it on.
Right. Just activate it, just boop, and it activates the chest light. I mean, because we've all seen the breakdowns of different bat suits. He's got, the lenses. He's got night vision and infrared. And he's got the radio and the cowl. And we all know that the utility belt has 1,000,001 gadgets inside of it.
Right.
The gloves have stuff in them. The boots got stuff in them. The cape's got stuff in it. Like the whole suit's got, some type of gadgetry somewhere and all the lining involved in it. So why not the bat symbol on the chest? It was probably the only piece left that didn't have something hooked up to it.
Right. But yeah, man, I thought that was a pretty ingenious invention, something that I've never seen before, just by casually reading a Batman comic book. So I thought that was pretty cool. But they're actually progressing through the aquarium based on a lead that Jason Todd got earlier in the night. And as they progress, they go by a large fish tank. And as we see in the panel, Batman looks over with his grizzled face to the tank itself. And what do you know? They are a Joker fish.
Yep.
So apparently the toxin is being used in that aquarium. But what actually caught me about this scene was the next panel after this third panel was that they Jokerized the shark.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that before in a Batman comic book?
Not in a comic, but they did, that I know of, but I know they did it in the old Batman the Animated Series Jokerfish episode.
Mm-hmm.
They did Jokerize it when the Joker was going to feed, oddly enough, he was going to feed Harvey Bullock to a shark. The shark he was going to feed him to had been Jokerized. And of course, Batman shows up and saves him and all those, but yeah, it was a Jokerized shark.
And this actually, it was, I've read a bit about the older Batman. I think it was either from the late 60s or the early 70s where the Joker fish first showed up, where he Jokerized fish. And I thought back then that, that's rather zany and somewhat of an insane thing to Jokerize a fish. But to ramp that up, you Jokerizing sharks is just like, that's just taking it to the next level. That's like going from like regular Goku to God mode Goku, Super Saiyan Blue Goku. Like you just ramping it up to the nth degree. So that when I saw this panel, man, I laughed. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I laughed real hard. Like, man, come on, a Jokerized shark, like really?
I mean, you have nowhere to go but up after you Jokerize a goldfish.
Y'all didn't think that was Killer Shark for a second?
No, I didn't.
No.
I didn't. I just thought it was very like off the wall that he would actually go through with it. But then again, I mean, if he's dumping toxin in the aquarium, they probably got a Jokerized dolphin in there somewhere, a manatee, so there ain't no telling. But apparently
The
this go ahead,
other
Ed.
one looked like I was saying. The other ones look like crates, like straight from critters.
Yeah. But this particular panel is pretty much setting it up for what's about to happen next. So they're looking at the shark's looking at them. Apparently Red Hood is kind of like dumbfounded over the fact that it's a Jokerized shark, which he says that's new.
Same reaction you had, like
Right. So, that dialogue, Batman's like, bro, what the hell is going on with this dude in his brain? But he ain't saying nothing. So they continue the dialogue. While they're talking, Red Hood detects some security doors opening across the facility, and they are having some individuals that's coming to meet them. Batman says they're here. Then we get a off panel button, balloon. Yes, we are. In the next panel, I have never seen this. He looked like, what I look like. What I thought about when I saw him, man. He looked like a highly super deformed version of Mo from the Three Stooges and stuff, man.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yeah.
Look at their name tags.
Gaggy.
Pow, biff, zoink. All of those are harkbacks to the 66 Batman sound effects.
And then they're all literally dressed like the Goon.
Yep, they sure are. That's crazy. Have y'all ever read about Gaggy? Is he like a 60s or a 50s villain that they just...
I've never seen him.
I read about him, but it was early Batman.
Had to been. I mean, I ain't never seen this dude. But he says, but Batman... Go ahead. I'm sorry, X.
No, I'm talking about like early. Like before they knew the Joker was going to still be around early. Like 30s, 40s maybe, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, apparently he was in the Joker's court and called him the court jester. And he looked real dumb with that cattle prod. But anyway,
I didn't think that they were dressed like the Goon when I got to this part. I immediately saw Joe Chill when I looked at all of them. They looked how Joe Chill looked the night he killed Thomas and Martha Wayne. The hat, the shirt, the pants, they kind of all reminiscent of the way Joe Chill was dressed that night. So that was kind of one of those things for me. When I read it, I was just like, so again, here we are with the Joker toying with Batman's psyche. I mean, granted, they never mentioned it, but it's still just kind of like, to me, it was like, is he toying with Batman? Because he is now throwing all these goons at him who are dressed like the guy who killed his parents.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I can see that. Needless to say,
I didn't even think about that. That's
Gaggy think he gonna do something with that cattle prod. Look how he's standing though, man.
I was looking at that. This is his knees.
He
stand like he got a pee.
I mean, he in a battle ready stand, like he just ready to pounce.
Oh, that new Mortal Kombat 11 DLC coming at you.
Gaggy.
Oh. Wow.
Flawless victory. Yeah. So it's crazy though, because hey, scroll back up right quick, Chris.
All of his finishes are friendship.
Jason thought, who the hell is that? And then he said, the Gaggy. He said, what are you supposed to do? Triples?
He gonna beat up my shins? Like, what is he gonna do?
Same thing. What he gonna do? He gonna tie my shoes together or something? Like, dude, you ain't gonna do nothing.
Oh no, my ankles are in danger.
Right. It needs to say the goons and Gaggy are ready to pounce, and they do. And in like stormtrooper fashion, two of the guys shoot and miss the target.
Can't hit the broadside of a barn.
Hit the glass.
But you notice Batman turned off the chest flashlight?
Yeah, he did turn it off.
He turned off. He was like, "Oh, don't need this no more."
It's ass whooping time.
Right.
So Gaggy says, "Get him, but save me the Red Hood."
He didn't like that trip comment.
But you know what though? That could also be foreshadowing for issue 2, which we ain't got.
Also, yeah,
So basically they go to work.
Then he hulked out.
Yeah, he did hope out.
Oh well, he baby hulked out. Yeah.
So yeah, come Batgirl with a thrust punch, and Batman with a left cross to like a guy that's in his 60s.
man.
What happened to that too?
Yeah. So he said, "Good giggity," or whatever that was. He said, and here comes I forgot his name just that quick. Gremlin man,
Gaggity, giggity,
Gabbit, Gaggy.
gaggy, yeah,
His name?
gaggy,
Yeah,
gaggy, yeah, gaggy. Hulked
Gaggy.
out gaggy.
So we got um Bruce Banner Gaggy. He watching all his men get dealt with. Again,
Just get dealt with.
Another stormtrooper behind Batgirl with a gun.
Total miss.
Point blank
Oh,
range miss.
all of them losing their teeth again.
All of them. I hope they got good dental coverage for some
But
veneers.
she kicked him so hard his teeth went wooden.
I'm talking about
Wow.
straight up. So she basically berating them because apparently they're not like top of the line villains. Not exactly the cream of the crop.
That one dude looked like he was like 60. How is there no retirement home for henchmen? For being a henchman, there's no retirement for henchmen. So
That being a henchman for Gaggy was a part-time gig. Man,
Blue Cross Blue Shield don't cover being a henchman.
he was like better this than Walmart. I don't want to be a greeter,
I think I go take my chance at Walmart if I'm in
Man,
Gotham.
don't you know?
He lied. I wonder how Gaggy sent his applications out. He had a Facebook page or something.
My thing is like,
Craigslist post.
how stupid can you be as a henchman in Gotham? Like, at what point do you not realize, yo, hey, we not gonna win?
Right.
We not, like, history repeats itself, and history shows that we are over. We have not won one time.
They can try. I mean,
But that's like fighting Marv in Sin City.
Right.
It's not
It's
gonna
not
have
gonna
a
work
good
out for you.
outcome. Right.
I mean, the whole gist of that phrase, if at first you don't succeed, try again.
In Gotham, if you don't succeed, don't try bungee jumping.
Don't. Right.
Well, I mean,
Like,
you see Gaga and his boys, they desperately trying. And apparently they failing miserably because Batgirl says they're not exactly the cream of the crop. And then she goes on to say, if you could scroll up just a little bit, Chris, without the guns, they're nothing.
I do love showing, that they don't show that often, but that they're not just there for show off on the sides of their arms. Like those things are actually like razor sharp.
razor sharp. Yeah.
Right, they're weapons also. Like that doesn't get shown off too often, but that's actually a nice little detail there put in that she's showing that they're using.
That's what's up. So stormtroopers are shooting the glass, and one of the stormtroopers get knocked against the glass, and he get knocked so hard, blood is coming out his nose.
That nose is broke.
Yeah, he probably bleeding internally too.
I bet he'll take that over his teeth missing.
Yeah.
He's got all of his. That is true. That is true. The teeth count is intact.
All of them are intact. So the shark is just looking like he's just waiting. Which one I'm gonna get? Which one? I'm hungry. I need some food. Feed me, Seymour. So he basically waiting for the glass to break. So we scroll on down.
Well, you ain't go Archer 2, did you?
I did.
Yeah, he did.
Pow, bam, biff. Nice name tags. And then here come Gaggy from behind.
Cataprod.
You know what this reminded me of? I'm gonna bring some little pro wrestling in the mix. Kevin Nash actually cataprodded Goldberg. That's what that reminded me of.
Oh man.
I thought you were gonna say Dink the Clown.
No, well, did Dink cataprod somebody?
No, it's just Doink and Dink.
Oh, okay. Well, Gaggy back there looking like a little imp from hell. He gets
He ready.
one up. Yeah, he ready. He gets the one up and he sneak attacks Red Hood, time for you to be tagged, Hood. He hit him, and then Red Hood said something that mimics electricity. And then the next panel, of course, Red Hood's like, man, I know this little short, ugly MF didn't do this. So the Joker said, you beg for me to stop. What fun we'll have together. Okay. So Red Hood said, yeah, you got a caliprod, but I got a gun, son.
Right. Knife to a
Next panel.
gunfight.
Right, exactly. A caliprod to a gunfight. Gaggy didn't see that coming. So instead of shooting the Joker, he did the next worst thing. And he went ahead and go ahead and let the shark out. So he hits the glass one last time. And Gaggy's life flashed before his eyes.
Short life.
Hell, he looked like Morph right there. Morph and Mojo.
You know what? I bet you he wished he would morph right longer.
Man.
He morph in the night crawler and teleport the hell out of
He
there.
ain't lying.
He says, oh no. And he had all that bravado at the beginning of the conversation. Next thing you know, here come Jokerized Jaws.
There it is.
Arf.
Dun-na, dun-na. That is ridiculously well done.
And I'm telling you, man, if I were Gag, I would just die before he bit me. Like,
Just heart attack.
right, just die.
Cataprod myself.
Right. So here comes Gaggy. Gaggy is about to leave.
Or Gaggy could have just jumped straight in his mouth without getting bit.
Gaggy
How
doesn't
long
seem,
was he going?
he doesn't seem to be the athletic type, man.
Because clearly this shark was going to die seconds later outside of water.
Right.
Yeah. But Gaggy looked like he would have jumped into his mouth and his ankle would have got caught on that first row of teeth.
Just
When he chomped down, man, if he didn't die, he was going to lose them legs. You know what I'm saying?
Or just a thought. I know it's far fetched. Just roll to the side.
just move out the way.
Right.
Bro, let me tell you something, man.
Don't put your hands up. Just move.
Man, you talking about a 3-foot dwarf with a cataprod, but a Jokerized shark coming at you with his mouth wide open.
Them thoughts didn't cross his mind.
If he was Batman, if he had the intelligence of Batman, perhaps. But Gaggy don't look like he made it past the 3rd grade, dog. What he did is what he was supposed to do in this particular situation, and that was get ate.
That's messed up because this thing was gone for 40 years just to come back and die. In the first issue, he came back.
That's terrible. People talking about, I got the first appearance of Gaggy again. Well, I got the last appearance of Gaggy.
You got the first and last. So you got a twofer.
Right. See, Jason's the athletic one because what did he do? He just stepped out of the way.
Stepped out of the way.
Jason just stepped out of the way.
Gaggy is being consumed.
And did he catch a fish too?
No, you talking about Jason?
Yeah. Oh no, that's his leg. Okay.
Yeah, that's his leg.
I was gonna say he sure caught a fish.
No, Jason's just getting out of the way of the shark.
So Batman is like,
hey, look at the legs though. Look at the legs.
Al was right. His leg got caught on that front row of teeth right there. Look.
Hey, but he got bit so hard that he turned around.
Right, because he was facing.
Yeah, he was facing them.
He may have tried that maneuver.
Maybe try to corkscrew spin as his mouth was closed.
I was thinking the same thing, man. He did a corkscrew spin to the right, and that shark said, "Nope."
Try to do that bison psycho crusher into the mouth, and it didn't work.
Psycho crusher. But yup, he gets got. Red Hood looks on. Batman looks on while he beating the stew beef out of somebody.
He still got all his teeth too. So apparently, Red Hood's the only one that knocks teeth out. Like, and when Batgirl kicks people,
right? I definitely say Batgirl show kicked them out. Ooh, they finna get real good.
Right. So we're at the end of the confrontation, and Red Hood cracking jokes. I guess Gaggy's spectacular return was meant to be. And you know what's funny, man, with this book? The most serious character as of right now is Red Hood, but the most humorous character is Red Hood as well. Because these one-liners that he actually spewing out, man, it's like
killer.
Like, okay, Gaggy, yeah, he right. A spectacular return wasn't meant to be. Yeah, like in this particular panel, Batman should just said and just let it
Right. He
roll.
just left alone.
So, but Batman was rebutting Red Hood, saying that Gaggy might know where the chemicals are stored, and then Red Hood, where else the clown special sauce is swirling down the drain, guys. Whatever the Joker had planned is over. Batman and his detective ability says, no, it's not. That fish tank wasn't large enough to hold the entirety of stolen chemicals. Which actually brings me to this question. If they had a if they had a tanker full of chemicals in earlier panels in the comic, why would they have actually done that? Was this a ruse just to get them to the aquarium? Or do y'all think there may have been a plan for the Joker to try to use the fish and the shark?
I think it was more like a plot device. He was trying to get them there in order to be able to do what he needed to do for the next step.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
and this was just the easiest way to get them there.
That makes sense. Because I mean,
I
the
think all
overall
of this was a part of their plan.
gotcha. Because the
Even the
overall,
last page.
yeah. Because the overall arc, man, it didn't really make sense. Like unless they were planning on, infesting Gotham Harbor with all the fish and the shark.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense as far as the plot device. So basically, we get an off-panel bubble again from somebody off screen, and we see Joker with some piranha and a fish bowl. Speaking of fish, why did Batman and Robin quit going fishing together?
Robin shark repellent.
Robin kept eating all the worms, and here Batman with that Kevlar cape.
Man, you don't know? Ta-da!
Oh, but that was a corny joke too, Joker. Like for real. I like, come on, dude. But then he says, should that be the other way around? Boy Wonder #2, poking jabs at Jason Todd. I already know this man pissed.
Damn.
Then he goes outside his head with the fish bowl.
Right. I love Batgirl just backhanded the fish out the way.
Yeah.
Like she just pop.
I'm just talking about how that little jab he took at Red Hood though.
Or were the worms eating you
With
after
the
I put
worms
you in the
eating
ground?
Yeah. Savage.
And you know what? It's
No
crazy
chill.
because you would have thought that with the three Jokers, that being that there were three Jokers, that it could have been the joke. It could have been another Joker. But is it ironic that they actually sent the Joker that allegedly did Jason Todd in?
I think it was more on point. Like again, another one of those moments of the Joker jabbing at Batman, jabbing at the Red Hood to throw them off their game. Because at this point, the Joker's got to know how much Red Hood gets angry and overreacts whenever he sees the Joker. So then, no matter what plan Batman may have had, whatever teamwork they may have planned out, the moment Red Hood sees the Joker, he goes all red in the face, and gets red-eyed and just throws everything out of the window.
Yeah.
So by seeing the Joker that beat him to death, he just stops thinking logically and just starts thinking with anger.
Yeah. X.
I concur. I also got caught up reading it again. I think you're doing this every time I look away and start reading. You be like X, like the teacher. I agree, but like I said a second ago, I think all of this is just leading up to the big payoff as far as the Jokers are concerned, especially within the next couple of pages. We'll see. I think that's all just tying everything in. That's going to lead into when we talk about book 2. You know what I'm saying?
Cool bean. Okay. So it was methodical and it was well thought out that the Joker that was sent to the aquarium happened to be the Joker that put Red Hood out of commission. Okay. All right. So we get to the next panel. And then next thing you know, the Joker gets the upper hand on Red Hood, throws off his mask, let's get off that pesky mask. I want to see eyes again. Those tears, that fear. I'm like, tears for fears? Okay. I
Mm-hmm.
can't get enough, Bubba. Now, I did pick that up as a tears for, okay. That could be a nod to tears for fears. I don't know, but that's what I got. So the Joker is being his Jokerish self. I can't get enough, Bubba. And here from the shadows comes Batman.
There it is. And then
Left hook.
So did he punch him or did he hit him with that piranha right there?
just random fish. I wanted the
Right.
same thing.
Right. Because that would have been the punchline.
But you know what? So, if you hit him with that piranha, boy, it was gonna force behind it because he sure drew some blood, boy.
Right.
Unless
Right.
you cut him.
Just random fish out of nowhere.
Then,
Well, I think the fish
next
was on
panel after
Batman
that-
because the fish got some
Yeah, I do
bites
see that. Yeah.
in his mouth, so maybe the fish was just hanging on the Batman,
Mm-hmm.
just along for the ride.
But this, when you slide, boy, this tiger uppercut, boy.
Woo! Woo!
Forward down forward strong punch because he hit him with an uppercut then. And then next thing, here comes Batgirl with the double team. And she hits
Through the window.
through the
That's
window.
the ultimate leg sweep right there.
Right?
So everybody's taking a piece of the Joker. And
Joker show looked like Jack Nicholson there when he was smiling
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
with that blood.
Yeah. From the end of the first Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So the Joker finally gets subdued. And Batgirl asks, is that him, isn't it? That's the Joker, Batman? Batman
He's making a noise.
Laps.
Still making the sound effects.
That's the same outfit that that Jack Nicholson wore in the
Batman.
'89 Batman 2. See, I'm gonna go back and read issue 2, like
The
with a
laugh,
fine
the
tooth
look,
comb now.
the
Smiling
smiling fish. Batman, actually, from this panel, these series of panels, it gives me the impression that Batman really don't know. Like, he's kind of confused as to whether or not this is the real Joker.
Like there should be question marks, not periods there.
Right.
The laugh, the look, the smiling fish. Like, you don't know either, do you, Batman? Are you asking me, Batman, or are you telling me?
Right. She goes on to say he's changed his appearance over the years. His modus operandi is as straight as a river. But that's him, right? Hey, scroll up just a little bit, please, sir. Damn it, I had him. Okay, so that's Red Hood talking all panel.
Mm-hmm.
What did he have?
He's according to him, he would have had the Joker.
Yeah.
What did he have? He had his
Fishbowl.
ass handed to him.
Fishbowl to the head.
Yep, fishbowl.
Yeah.
So basically, he's going through and talking about he wanted a piece of Joker so bad he could taste it. He would have crushed him by himself, which he could have, but wasn't meant to be. Batgirl says, "Well, it doesn't matter, Jason. It matters to me." Then he goes and he did swift kick the Joker. He's mad, and rightfully so. Jason, stop it! And here comes Batman. He's signaling the Jim or letting Jim Gordon know that they've captured one of the Jokers. Jim gives his stamp of approval.
I feel like it should be more at the ear, because that makes it look like Batman's got psychic powers like Professor Xavier,
Right,
and he just
right.
psychically communicated to Jim Gordon that they captured one of the Jokers there. And he's just like, I've got him. It's just missing like those 90s X-Men blue circles coming out of his head.
Like
It would've
Aquaman.
Yeah.
So he signals to Jim Gordon that they caught him. And apparently, they've cornered Joker number 2 at 17th and Broadway. Batman is on his way to the scene. Batgirl asks what's going on. He's going to get another one. And Batman, in his righteous indignation, secure him, wait for Arkham transport, make sure you do a search. That was mistake number 1 for Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm kind of shocked that he actually did that, knowing the history between
Jason.
Right, exactly. But I
Why
mean,
would you leave him?
Exactly, knowing that that's the man that put me 6 feet under. Why would you leave me here with him? You know, he would have been better off telling Batgirl to stay there and have Jason Todd go with him, but he didn't.
And he just whooped his ass.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. But Batman is subject to make errors. But he kind of mentioned he's always got some up his sleeve, which he did. Some razor sharp cards.
Two different Joker card styles, though, if you notice.
Yeah,
His traditional Joker card, and then he's got the different Joker card there.
yep.
Like a holiday Joker.
Yeah.
But how do they not cut him?
He probably got him in some kind of sleeve.
Thick sleeves.
Yeah, like a sleeve that's sewn into his jacket or something.
Polyester sleeves.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what about his skin?
He got
It's
a long
extreme.
shirt on. He probably got him like you can't see my hand, but he
He
probably
got
got like a pocket, like
Right.
woven into the shirt or something.
Made out of
You see how-
corduroy.
Like you said, corduroy. But you see how when they hit the ground, it cut the
Ting.
ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's mixed in because all of them apparently aren't sharp. Like it doesn't seem like. Seems like that one's a razor sharp one, but the other ones aren't. So if it's mixed in with the other cards, it doesn't just maybe.
I guess
I don't know.
that's why he ain't got no fingerprints. Yeah.
Yeah.
Playing
true.
with them damn razor sharp ass cards.
But scrolling up a little bit, it
And-
states that let's see. Okay, so Batgirl and Red Hood are now with the Joker. Sounds the same, but it looks a little different than the last time. Batgirl says, "How? Thinner, I think. I don't know. We've never known his real name or where he come from. So how are we supposed to know if this is it's him? And what if there's always been more than one? I mean, he hasn't used gag in years. Thoughts, fellers?
I mean, it's interesting to me that Jason's the one thinking these thoughts and having these questions. When you think the world's greatest detective would have been the one who would have asked all this stuff before he dipped out.
Yeah.
And I get he was in a hurry, but still, these are some important questions.
I think he left because he was unsure. Jim gave him a way out. You know what I'm saying? Like
the Robot Chicken sketches, he was like, the bat signal. And he just takes
Right.
off so he doesn't have to answer any questions.
he's like, you know what? Let me go get some more intel to see if I can piece these things together. Because he was,
I'll compare them to each other if I get another one.
yeah, he was stumped then.
Yeah. And
One of
I'm
these
thinking,
things is not like the other one.
Yeah, he looked real vulnerable just then.
and I'm thinking that was the case. I mean, he stood there while they were asking those questions, and he couldn't answer them. So I mean, he couldn't tell. So it's like,
Right.
I gotta go see this other one so I could like you said, X, compare notes with the one that I just saw to see if this is the real one.
Exactly.
So they're looking at them, and I think as they go down, let's see here. He looks at a card that dropped. Now, I can't remember the last time he played with a laughing fish and a deck of razor sharp cards or acid spraying flowers. So he tried to get them,
Tried to okey doke him.
which I'm trying to figure out how did he activate it.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. How did he do it?
He must have flexed the pectoral muscle.
I was gonna say, is it in the chest muscle or something?
Gotta be.
It had to be like that particular Joker go to Planet Fitness or something. I don't
Right. LA Fitness.
know. Right, one of them, Gotham Fitness.
He worked at a gold gym with Arnie.
He got them Terry Crews pecs. You can just flex them and just.
Stop.
Right.
Stop.
So
Old Spice.
the acid, of course, is very dangerous, and it actually bores a hole through the razor sharp card, which presumably is made of metal. Don't know, but could be.
Just good guess.
But how does it not burn the flower?
Science.
Right.
It's just gonna use that excuse for
Science.
Science.
That
So
must
yeah,
be, like he got that flower from Poison Ivy.
could be.
Very true. Poison Ivy could have given it to him.
Or it could be fake, a synthetic flower with some kind of
Coating inside of it.
Yeah. Yup.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
Poison Ivy answer sounds better.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
go to the
Yeah.
next panel, and the Joker is just tripping. Like everything y'all said is just classic. The fish, the cards, Gaggy, those are classics. And then he just goes off laughing again. And he says, I am the one true Joker, and I can prove it. So they go through his pockets. And
Oh, there's the tube and everything for the flower,
yep.
and it was a pump, so maybe just like lean back on it or whatever, and that's what activated it.
Is that is that a razor in Red Hood's hand?
I do believe it is. That is a straight razor.
Man, okay. Joker is old school.
So the Joker was a barber.
That's how you get that close shave.
So Joker goes on to say while they're pulling all that stuff out of his pockets, oh, you're looking at the trap, Batgirl. It's me. I'm the loop de loop, the master wheel of doom, the cycle of pain. Each one of you is trapped in. The Red Hood here, for example. And this is where it gets spectacularly good.
Man,
So he basically starts on Red Hood. And he starts going over, have you ever wondered why he uses my former moniker? Who in their right mind would take on the identity of their killer? Am I right? Now, I guess this is left up to conjecture because do y'all think that Red Hood actually took on the moniker of Red Hood so that he could erase the thoughts of dying at the hands of Joker?
Not no, because in the Red Hood story, he took on that moniker to remind Batman of his greatest failure.
right.
You
And I
know,
think he stuck with it to own it, to make it his.
right?
You know, so that way it's not just a memory from what happened to him by the Joker, but it's just like I'm Red Hood now. This is no longer yours. This is mine. I own this title. I own what it means, and it means something different to me than what it started out as.
And me as the Red Hood has more meaning behind it than you,
Right.
because when you were the Red Hood, you were just a quote unquote petty thief. They got caught. I
Exactly.
took over that and made it something people fear it.
And that's exactly what he actually says going into the next panel. I took it because I'm owning what you did to me. You made me into this. I'll be your destruction. And here come the Joker in true form, ragging him again. Little did he know. So he continues to rag him and berate him.
And he pushes him too far.
What did what Tupac said in Hail Mary? Well, Red Hood is a killer, but
Right.
he pushed him. He pushed him,
He picked
and
the wrong one to push because it
Ain't no
don't take
killer, but don't
much.
push me.
right, exactly,
It don't take much to push the Red Hood.
No, it doesn't.
right. So Red Batgirl's like, hey man, don't do this, man. Put the gun down. And Jason Todd said, but he's right. Nothing's gonna change till we break the cycle. And from what I've seen, and just to break, I'm gonna ask y'all's opinion on this. And I'm gonna ask, and this is the reason why. Do y'all think Batman too soft on criminals?
I think he's about as lenient as every other DC superhero.
But
You know what I mean?
as a
I would have
visual,
killed the Joker
right? Because
or one of them.
I've seen arguments where a lot of people are saying it seems like Batman, just from a writer standpoint, it seems like from a writing standpoint, Batman enjoys the thrill that the Joker gives him because he knows that anytime he apprehends him and puts him in jail, if he's escaped, if he escapes, he's gonna go back and continue to do the same thing over and over and over again. So this whole argument where Jason Todd was saying nothing is going to change until we break the cycle, which of course, he want to off the Joker because if the Joker doesn't exist anymore, this whole circle of madness, it'll stop. So what are your thoughts on that, Chris?
I think Batman's too soft on certain criminals. Uh, like back they did a really good issue back in like 2018, 2019, in which uh it was shortly after the whole wedding debacle with Catwoman and Batman and happening, and Bruce is just like upset and everything, and he ends up he comes across Freeze and almost beats Freeze to death, and Freeze ends up going on trial, and Bruce Wayne ends up getting jury duty. And so he's in the jury pool and he's listening to the case, and then he's in the jury room and he's convincing these people that because he's realized as Batman that Freeze actually didn't commit the crime, even though all the evidence says that he did. So then he's sitting here convincing all these people that even though we have come to trust that Batman is right, if Batman beat him up, then obviously he must be a criminal and he must be in jail. He's sitting here trying to convince these people that Freeze didn't commit the crime and that Batman is fallible. That Batman can be wrong because his justice and his reasoning isn't absolute. Batman can make mistakes. He can be, he can be faulty on some things. And so I feel like he's soft on some criminals when he doesn't need to be, and he's hard on other criminals. And he's he's the only one who's like that. Superman will throw you in the Phantom Zone in a heartbeat. If he can't beat you, he'll just put you in the Phantom Zone for 1,000 years. Wonder Woman's an Amazon. They'll just kill you. Green Lantern puts you in a jail cell out in space. Escape if you wanna. Where you gonna go? Whereas Batman, with all the money that Bruce Wayne has, why has Wayne Industries not upgraded the security to Batcave level to stop people from escaping from Arkham Asylum? If not for the fact that on some level, Bruce enjoys the hunt. He enjoys the race. He enjoys the chase of going after these criminals over and over and over and over again. Because if he ever doesn't have it, then he'll be forced to have to try to live a happy life. And Bruce has always, deemed himself that he's not worthy of being happy because he couldn't save his parents or whatever. And it's just like that mythology, that psychology, of Batman on that level is kind of where that is. It's just like you're letting them escape. Like you literally helped build a space station with 3 different alien race technology that is the pinnacle of anything else anywhere in the DC universe. But your city is a shithole.
What I want to know is how can one city provide or produce so many crazy villains?
Oh, me and my friends have a theory about that. If you ever actually look at Batman's Rogues Gallery actually has the most PhDs and doctorates of any villains in the DC universe. They're all villains to pay off student loans.
Fannie Mae.
Every one of them. They're paying off student loans. That's all it is.
Yeah, they all smart now.
Yeah, they all got PhDs and doctorates.
Right.
Them things ain't cheap.
And the only one that's technically the sanest out of all of them is Hugo Strange.
Right. And really,
that's crazy.
That's
that he's the most sane out of them. Right. Right.
I mean,
I take that back. Bane is the most sane out of them.
Yeah. Mr.
Santa
Prisca himself. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Bane's extremely intelligent.
The smartest. Yeah, he's probably the smartest out of all of them too. I said just without the venom in him.
Yeah. So yeah, I think he is. I think he enjoys the chase of going out and being Batman and keeping Gotham safe. Because like the petty crime that happens, the cops take care of that. Batman takes care of the crazies, the madmen.
Right.
But if Arkham actually held people, or if Bruce actually just ended some of their lives, you wouldn't have all these issues over and over again all the time.
I always wonder if he actually killed these villains, would they look at him differently?
Oh yeah, they would.
Like, would they actually applaud him, or would they fear him more? You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at, all right, I know we're talking about DC right now and Batman in general, but look at Spider-Man, right? Spider-Man ain't never killed nobody. Well, that I know, ain't never killed nobody. I always got him locked up, but you got folks like J. Jonah Jameson who swears he's the biggest vigilante. He's the reason why all of this is happening, and clearly has shown time and time again that he's trying to prevent it. But let's say if he actually started murking these folks, would J. Jonah Jameson be like, he is a real bona fide hero? Would they
Nope.
do the same thing with Batman? It's damn if I do, damn if I don't type thing.
They would vilify him
Yeah.
if he started killing people.
I also think he kind of wants, he doesn't want to do anything. He doesn't officially want to stop them because he wants to see if his family can actually handle them without him. Because if you look at Nightwing, his Rose Gallery ain't worth a damn. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Dame, you look at Damien, who is he really fighting?
With the Teen Titans, he's got a decent Rose Gallery, but on his own,
Yeah, but see, that's a collective thing. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And even with the Teen Titans, like you go back to when it all started, who they fought when Dick Grayson was Robin before he became Nightwing. They had Deathstroke. You know what I'm saying? They ain't fought nobody like that since Deathstroke, except for leading up to Dark Knight Metals, which they still really not fighting them. You know what
that's
I'm
true.
saying? So I think it's one of those he's not gonna do anything to him until his underlings can prove that they can handle them on their own without him, so that he can feel justified in actually putting them down or really doing away with them.
Right.
Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So in the next panel, we are seeing Batgirl attempting to talk Jason Todd down. Batman wouldn't do this, and we just alluded, or you all basically in detail discussed that. Yeah, Batman wouldn't do it, and the Joker agrees. Oh, you're absolutely right. He would not. But Batman isn't here, is he, my darling? As and that kind of gave me the impression that the Joker was kind of like, yeah, he ain't here, so we gonna see how far we can take this. Like he was
Right.
actually goading Jason Todd to see how far he would go, and apparently Batgirl knew this. That's why she kept telling him, "Please put the gun down." So the next panel shows the Joker just going all full in, all in. Let's look at the facts here, Bat people. I bashed this boy's skull in. I killed this Robin. And then Batman arrested me like you're doing now. Brought me to Arkham, and that was that until it wasn't. So Jason Todd said, "Man, you didn't kill me, man. You just made me stronger." Of course, Joker said, "Yeah, you crawled from the shallow grave I left you in. You lived on to fight another day. Hurrah. You survived because of your tenacity. Or maybe I beat you to a bloody mess. I took you right to the edge because I wanted to leave you alive." I thought this was just super cold blooded right here, man.
Man,
Some of the best writing ever.
Super
so
cold
cold.
blooded. I'm
Like
talking about
as
like, go
while
ahead.
you reading this, while you reading this, especially if you know the story of Jason Todd and Death in the Family and Red Hood, you're reliving all of this so you can see where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
Like as I'm reading, I was like, oh no, he done, he done. I don't care. Nope. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I
He
mean,
he he finna get all this.
basically, the Joker's telling him at this point he's goading him, yes, but he's also telling Jason at this point, he's like, "You owe me your life.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
You only standing right here pointing this gun at me right now because I let you live."
Right.
right.
So every decision is, again, it's that psychological aspect of the Joker. Every decision you've made, every action you have taken, everything you've done that led you to this moment
Right.
is because
It's
I
because of
let
me.
you live.
Yep.
It's because of me. You are
The
nothing but what I made you.
the hero that you are,
Is the
the
hero I
the
let you
is
be.
is who I made you. Right.
Yep.
All of this, you weren't thinking about killing nobody. You all you want to do is shatter their collarbones and beat them up and this and the other. Now you ending lives. You took on the moniker of me after I killed you. I made you who you are.
Mm.
It's basically you.
You,
You basically became a version of me. You're
right,
Joker light. Is
right,
basically what he's telling him.
right.
It's
Like
basically
you're
exactly what he's
doing,
telling Jason
like you're doing all of this to be me.
to be me.
Crazy,
And
man. It's a mind game,
this,
man.
Deep mind game.
Serious mind games. Because he goes on in the next panel and he says, I mean, if I outright kill you, well, then there's no more opportunity to hurt you. And in turn, him, referring to Batman, because he's all that matters, not you, never you. To have that kind of infatuation or obsession over somebody, man, incredibly insane. Like
Man,
this is past whatever stalker story you've heard that was like the worst story. This tops it like in leaps and bounds. Like the Joker is like he out there, man. You can't really call him insane. There is no word for the depravity that the Joker actually possesses, man. Like for real, for real.
oh, there is.
I
It's
can't
called
think,
genius.
man. Ain't no
like this
mad.
panel, mad genius. This panel alone, or the far left panel alone, has two references in it. First one is to it's a twist on what the Riddler says to Two-Face in Batman Returns after they break into Wayne Manor, and Two-Face been sitting there flipping his coin about whether or not he can shoot Bruce, and then he finally flips it and it tells him he can shoot him, and he shoots him and Bruce falls down the steps and Two-Face gets up to go shoot him and the Riddler goes up to him and he goes, "No, don't kill him, because if you kill him, he won't learn nothing." And then two, when he says, because he's all that matters, not you, never you, takes us back to the second Death in the Family story, back when the Joker got his face cut off by the doll maker. And the Joker, again, it was talking about how the Joker sees his relationship with Batman. The Joker felt that Batgirl, Orphan, all the Robins, and all them had made Batman weak. And
Yep.
so he purposely went out of his way to kidnap all of them, to beat all of them to within like an inch of their life and almost kill all of them. Doing all of this,
Take over Alfred.
Jokerizing Alfred, and
Yep.
all of it was to make Batman better. And that was
Yeah.
the first time that they actually alluded to the fact that maybe Joker knew who Batman was, because when he first met him, after their first encounter, when Bruce returned in the Batboat, there was a Joker card on the bottom of the Batboat when he got back to the Batcave. And so then it caused a problem in the family, because they're like, so for all these years, Barbara getting shot, Jason getting beat to death, could have all been your fault because you never told us that he might know who you actually are.
We all in danger
We've
because you
all been
want to
in
keep a
danger for
secret.
years
Yep.
because you've compartmentalized all of us.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so it goes all the way back to that kind of thing, like that kind of deep mythos, but also that deep psychology. Because in the second Death of the Family story, like the Joker really was determined to get rid of all of them, because he really did
Yep.
feel that they made Batman
Yep.
weak. And he talked about,
Hmm.
when you read that story, the way he talks about his interactions with Batman, he talks about them as if they were like their first dates, or it was
Yeah.
like the first time they saw each other and the first time they
Hmm.
fought. He references those like a person references a romantic relationship.
You could tell he was in love with
Right.
Batman.
You that story lets you see that he is actually in love with Batman. And so that's why he's just like, because he's all that matters. Not you. Never you. None of you mean anything. It has always been about him. And it's that deep psychosis, that genius, that mad genius, that games that he's playing with all them, and they've all been through all of that leading up to this. So, that plays into it also for them. And it's amazing writing and storytelling, bringing that in there, dropping those little that kind of a nugget when you think back about it, and you think back about to that story, and you get to hear, and you're just like, he is still all about trying to make Batman better. He is still all about cutting all of you off, because in his mind, they are destroying his love between him and Batman.
Yep.
Mm.
It's
Well,
crazy.
yeah, it is crazy, man. Um, Going to the second panel here, it says, "Do you recall what you said to me This is where it really, really gets good.
And this hits your stomach right here.
Yeah. Do you recall what you said to me while I was breaking your head in with that crowbar? As your blood streamed into your eyes and your skull cracked. Jason started to shut up. Because I cherish those words. I'll always cherish them. Barbara, put the gun down. Please stop, please. If you let me live, I'll do anything you say. I'll be your
Go
Robin.
Robin.
Oh my God. Man, that was basically, excuse my French, but Jason Todd saying, I'll be your bitch.
Yeah, that was.
And that was like when I read that one this right here, right hand corner, I'm like, man, he done if he didn't push Jason over the edge at that point, then Jason was halfway down the cliff
Yeah.
when he
Right.
said that. So we go into the next panel and he starts laughing at him. And this dude, man, can play some mind. The Joker, man, if written properly, this dude, man, I'm pretty sure he could probably go into the Marvel universe and take over
Oh,
something.
they not ready.
I mean, honestly, like I'm a Marvel fan through and through, but the Joker, man, he's on a level of mind games and psychology, man. It take the minds of Reed Richards and Hank Pym together to figure out how to defeat this dude.
They
But
not the Marvel universe doesn't have. I've talked to a few friends about it. And it's like there are things that if one like people talk about like what if Batman went into the Marvel universe, like that everybody loses because not about his strategy, not about all the pure and simple. No one in the Marvel universe knows how to handle fear,
Yep.
and Batman carries fear toxin in his. He's used it on people before.
Right.
You know, and that fear and psychology together are a dangerous weapon. We see it happen with Scarecrow. We see it happen in here in these three panels with Jason. His fear, in that second panel, that look on his face is fear that
Yeah.
what the Joker is saying to him is true.
yep,
It's like even though he doesn't say it, you can tell, and he's just like, is he right? Like, am I his Robin? And
Look
like,
at the tear.
yeah, like you can tell that fear is like, is it real? Did he? Yeah, nobody in the Marvel universe would be able to handle. He'd drive Reed Richards crazy.
yeah.
Man, I think the Joker would probably take Deadpool just in craziness alone.
Oh,
Deadpool
Oh,
wouldn't even be
I
able.
know.
Like,
I know that. Yeah.
Deadpool ain't got a
he ain't
chance,
got it.
man.
Yeah, like it ain't there,
Deadpool be going to church after the Joker deal with
man.
he'll,
Sunday school
he'll
and
be the pastor.
Pastor Wade Wilson taking up
Pastor
off.
Wade Wilson taking up offerings.
Yeah, man. The Joker, man. Like I said, if he's in the right person's hands, he is an amazing character, man. To be honest with you, but he is really golden. Jason Todd, you are my Robin. He's laughing, and then that next panel, that third panel, he just flashback. Okay, crowbar laying up beside him. All that while he's still working. He trying. And I could tell it was an internal struggle between him really
Oh
wanting
yeah,
to kill him and not, because had he really really wanted to kill the Joker, he would have done it before he even started talking. That's the way I see it. But the Joker kept goading him as if to say, I want you to kill me. I want to see how far you can go. So in the next few panels, the Joker's just, going at him. And then at that time, that's when Barbara decided that she was going to take action. And she gets to him, and there's a little scuffle. And she throws the batarang. She hits the gun.
no, she hit his wrist.
Oh, my bad. She hits his
Yeah,
wrist.
she hits his wrist.
She hits his wrist, but he still remained composed. He puts the gun, cocks the gun.
Years of training right there.
Yeah, here's the training.
Years of training right there. I got hit in the wrist and then bleeding.
Right, and he still kept his aim.
Right.
But he clicks the gun, and then that next panel,
Ah,
blam.
And the man still laughing.
it's hilarious to him.
Because he's won.
Yeah.
He won.
Yep.
That's amazing, man.
That
Like,
is, man.
when I saw this, when I was reading it, I knew what was gonna happen,
But it's
but
still
seeing
just
it,
yeah,
yeah,
knowing it and
I was,
seeing it, two different things.
Finally seeing
I
the
was like,
Joker
this is
act.
amazing.
Finally see the Joker pay for his comeuppance or pay for his crimes in
Get his
some form of
comeuppance.
fashions. Yeah, he received his comeuppance in that regards. I mean, and in my opinion, I mean, Jason had every right to do that. I mean,
Oh, I don't think he was wrong at all.
yeah, some people may argue on Batman's side, but for Jason to do what he did, hey, I was like, when I saw it, my jaw dropped, and then I clapped internally. I'm like, yeah, man, this Joker needed it, you know?
You will never convince me that Jason was in the wrong.
Right.
I would have shot him before he said, "I'll be your Robin."
Yeah. Because you know what? I
I'm like,
think,
Batgirl don't need to hear that. Nope, shut up. Pow.
right. But see, my thing is, I think that whole, man, my mind's going blank. But that whole dialogue between them two, I think is going to come back later on.
I think it'll circle back around.
Yeah, it's gonna circle back around. Something's gonna happen, man. Because I personally, and I know we close to the end, but I don't think Red Hood's gonna walk out of this unscathed, man. That's just me.
Oh, no way. No way.
That's just me. Now, what's gonna happen to him, I don't know. But I mean, just to go ahead and get to the next few panels, because basically all it is just Batgirl looking bewildered and shocked, and the Joker still smiling as
On the
he
way down.
on the way down to the ground. And by this time, Red Hood is no longer crying. And then the Joker hits the ground, blood come out his head, mouth, everything. Cards is strewn everywhere. And then here comes Batgirl. Like, this was a duh question. Like,
Right. Like, what did you do?
what do you think I did? I popped him in
Right.
the skull. Like, what the hell did you do? I
I put
ended
one
it.
in him.
Right.
I'm like, you saw what I did. You
Right.
standing
Exactly.
there.
You were better than Memorex because it was live,
Right.
baby. You know?
You'll never forget it. You got a photographic memory, Babs.
Exactly.
Right.
So he says, I ended it. Don't tell me you didn't want to. You want this too after everything he did to you. She says, I didn't want this, really. Like, when's the last time you missed Barbara?
That was the point for
Hey
me. I was
man,
like, yeah, when
here's
did
the
you
thing.
you could have hit me? You could have hit the gun.
Here's the thing. How the hell she gonna say she didn't want this, but she broke a treadmill thinking about what he did to her?
Exactly.
But it goes
Just
back
because
to
you wouldn't do it don't mean you didn't want to do it.
Yep.
exactly. Or you didn't want to see it happen, or you didn't want him to fall at the hands of somebody. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because I mean, he was right. Because when I saw that batarang in the wall, it's like, come on now. I know your aim is a lot more true than that. You didn't train with Batman too,
Yeah, you could
And
have
you
hit. She
that
could have hit the gun.
close.
She
right?
could have hit the
That
gun.
close. She could have easily hit the gun and not, or either hit his fingers and knocked it out his hand.
Not even with the batarang. When you think about at that close range, she
She
had to
could
know
have
at
kicked
least
it.
there was at least 6 ways she could have disarmed him.
Yep. So,
Yeah.
so he look at her. He look at she looking at the batarang. Then, of course, the scene they show a pan down to the blood on the floor. And the next panel, she's looking down in anger.
Like,
Like,
what you crying for?
screw you,
What you
Jason.
crying for?
I mean, I figured since this was Black Label, they should just use the word F you,
Right.
Right.
you know. But hey, we still got what she mean.
We got the effect.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, in this particular panel, Jason touched the nerve.
Mm-hmm.
He touched the nerve, but with her, she does not want to admit the fact that she finds satisfaction in what happened because she's still trying to follow that whole tried and true Batman logic. You don't kill, we apprehend, blah
No
blah
reason.
blah. But at the same time, she knew Jason was telling the truth based on what her experiences were with the version of Joker that put her down. So that's the reason why she got upset and she stormed out. So we move on to the final panel of this book. Unless y'all had something to say about this one.
That was all. That was.
So Jason looks and he sees her walking away. And he looks down at the Joker.
You know what though? I don't think that was the I don't think that was the same Joker that killed him.
You don't
I
think
think that
so?
was the one that I think that was the one that shot Barbara.
Hmm.
They all share the same memory.
Damn. How is that possible?
Hmm?
How is that possible?
Like in order for them to make a new Joker, they're gonna have to have the same. They're gonna have to pass those
Oh,
memories
I
on.
gotcha. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I
gotcha.
think
So he
they
could have
did
just
a little
changed clothes.
switcheroo. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So as we get to the final panel of this particular book, he states, "I hope that's the right one."
Which is funny because it's like a little late now if it ain't, but yeah,
Right.
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 I hope it was the right one.
So we see Joker laying in a pool of blood, still tied up to the chair. And that, my friends, is the end of issue number 1. And I may say this, that this particular book was a really good read.
Oh yeah.
I really enjoyed it. And I thought the writing in this book was superb. That's just me. Um, I don't, I like I said in my Instagram post, I don't, I'm really getting into reading Batman. You know, I've been reading DC, but I've never really read Batman as much as I have the last 3-4 years. And it's amazing, man, to where you can read something that riveting. And then for me, going from, reading stuff about, Captain Marvel, Shazam, Firestorm, X-Men, you're going from one extreme to another. You're going from people that can shoot beams out of their eyes and claws come out of their hands, and jokers that turn to 7 feet steel giants, to people that don't have any superpowers whatsoever. But the stories are just so riveting and intriguing and intricate to the point to where I don't even care. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? I don't
Right.
even care. Like, it's just like, wow, this is some crazy stuff. Now this is coming from a guy. I've never read Death in the Family in its entirety. I've read bits and pieces of it, but I know about the story. You know what I'm saying? I've never read Killing Joke in its entirety, but I've read bits and pieces, and I watched the DC animated movies. But I can imagine for you guys, being that y'all are huge Batman fans, that this whole roller coaster ride of book 1 and particularly book
Right.
2 was just
Right.
like just out of this world for y'all. So um I'm gonna start off with Chris. Chris, what was your overall take of the book, man? How did you feel about it?
My overall take, I feel, is probably a little bit more because I've always been a Batman fan. I mean, Superman is probably like one of my top favorites, but Batman is definitely in the second or third slot. But I've never, ever, ever been a Joker fan because I don't think that the Joker is good. The Joker has been good, but he's never been handled properly to make him, to my esteem, an actual threat to the level of character that Batman actually is. When you see Batman standing toe to toe with the Justice League fighting Darkseid, and then he goes back to Gotham, and then a dude with clownfish and a balloon is giving him trouble, it's hard to you know what I'm saying, that it doesn't level out like that. But this book finally puts the Joker on that tier. It puts him on that level of villain that makes me finally see him the way other people have for years, that he is actually a credible threat so long as he is handled properly and you can see that craziness. It's not something that's always done, and that's, I guess, maybe that's always been my issue with it. Because in the original Death in the Family it was great, and then in the Death in the Family that happened a little while ago, that we talked about, again, the Joker was handled magnificently. And here we are again, where we have this character that, in one Superman comic book, Superman told the Joker that he's not impressive. He's like, because anybody can be you, anybody can write you. You're nobody. You're nothing. And here we are with Jeff Johns kind of bringing that statement true. He's got three Jokers, and they're all different, but yet they're all the same. Any one of them could be any one of the other one of them. Like X said at the end, it potentially could be the Joker, the tourist Joker who shot Barbara, that actually got shot at the end. We don't know yet, because they're so interchangeable, but at the same time, they're still classically and timelessly unique in each in their own way.
X.
So I definitely agree with everything that was just said. The only thing that I will somewhat um, combat you on is for it's funny how for Superman to tell the Joker that he's a nobody, he's nothing, anybody could be you. The Joker made him kill him.
Man, that's
So if
the
the Joker,
injustice story. And he
it
killed his
don't
wife
matter. He did
and
it.
his baby.
He
Like,
he
that's
he did it. He broke him. He broke him.
what Kryptonite do.
What
He didn't break
what
him on his
what?
own.
But what happened afterwards though? He did it. That was the Joker.
He used, again, it's
He
with
did what
Kryptonite.
he did what Lex Luthor could never do.
Like, that bald headed fool can't never get nothing
He
right.
did
Like,
what
that's
Lex
a
Luthor could never do. But the thing is, what makes the Joker is like with me being Batman is my hands down favorite character all time. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And the Joker is my favorite villain just because he is the complete opposite of Batman. Like if you really sit down and think about it, like everything that Batman stands for is what the Joker loathes. He hates it. He despises it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But where all other villains try to focus on all like doing this, doing that. I want to take over this. I want to take over that. The Joker only cares about Batman. Joker's like, I can care less about what the other people do. I'll team up with you, whatever. Oh, no, I'm not gonna team up. Wait a minute, you said Batman? Yeah, I'm in. I'm in. I'm good. All right. But then Batman steps out of the equation. He's like, all right, I'm out. Whatever y'all do it. His main focus is the joke, is the Batman, which is why I love him and I love this story right here because, as you were saying earlier, when you were talking about the death in the family and the death of the family, he was doing all of this to make Batman strong again. Which, let's be real, he was speaking the truth because Batman had started dying down. He had started weakening down. You know, that was that whole New 52 run and era after the quarter hours and all that when he started weakening. So he was
Yeah.
speaking the truth on that. You know what I mean? So I I really love this. We touched on it earlier when we were talking about how he's focusing on the three main people that he really he really did the most damage to because he didn't really do anything to Jason Todd. I mean not Jason Todd, but Dick Grayson.
Right.
Tim Drake was way later on, and he didn't do nothing to Damien. Let's be real on that. But for him to keep bringing to focus on them and bring everything back and make it so relevant and to have you this like this bought in and it's just book one. This is amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like I love this.
You're invested.
Right, right. And it's just book one. This is what 48 pages of a story and you're hooked page 4 and it just digs in deeper every page, page after page after page after page. Like I know we've been on for a minute now, but we hadn't even got the book 2 and the story gets better. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
this is some of the best writing for what we don't know how many issues it's going to be. I think they said 3, but it can easily be more with how many people are really into this book. But bruh, it's not a lot of short-lived stories that have this great of writing in it, and I really I don't
No.
want to see that because and correct me if I'm wrong, but they still haven't even scratched the surface of like Batman one, like what made him really really sit in the chair and ask who they are. You know what I'm saying? I know why he did it, but this so far he hadn't even scratched the surface. So this is making you look from a different aspect as to what's gonna happen,
Mm-hmm.
what is going on with this. Like, dude, it's so much in this book, man. I can't wait. There's so many thoughts running through my mind, but I can't get everything out because as I'm thinking of one thing, something else is there, and I want to touch on that, but then I want to finish. It's been a long time since I read a book that makes me do that. I think the last time I read a book that made me react like this was um the Hush Run. What I'm saying? Just seeing Thomas Elliot and how that played out. That's the last book or storyline that I read that made me have this kind of excitement and want to see what happens in the next book. And Al can tell you when we were doing the show, like reading the Flash from week to week when it came to Rebirth, I was excited about that, but not like this, and not like I was with Hush. So, hey, bravo to them for this. I needed this. They didn't let me down so far with this 3 year wait that we had to endure. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Al, you still there? How you feel about it?
Man, I love it. I mean, personally, coming as a comic book reader and a lover of comic books, I'm always a fan of a good story. And I'm not one of those comic book readers that's just stuck on, one particular publisher, like, somebody else that we know that you mentioned earlier in the conversation. But I'm game for whatever I can find. I mean, I've been getting a lot into DC as of late anyway, but I knew when they announced this Three Jokers thing, just based on the limited knowledge that I had of Batman, I wanted to read it. I'm not disappointed, man. And like you said, the second issue gets better. It's much better than the first one. And for those who actually stood was patient and had was long suffering to get to the end of this video, we thank you. We just got to talking, and hopefully we can try to streamline a little bit more. I know we've been going for probably about 2.5, 3 hours, but just to do a deep dive into a comic book, this is our first time doing this. So we'll get better with time, but we do appreciate you watching it. But man, I love it. I ain't gonna lie, I love it, and I can't wait. And I'm like you, X. I mentioned this to you all. Well, I know I mentioned it to Chris before we started recording, but number two, man, it just unpacks so much stuff. I can't see how in the world they gonna try to close all this stuff out in the third issue. That book gonna have to be about 200 pages, man. It's gotta be, because I mean it was just so much, and then going over it with this style as far as and I ain't gonna lie, man, I thoroughly enjoy kicking it with y'all doing this, and we have got to continue this if we can, man. But man, the Large Marge thing, like all these little bits and pieces that I just overlook. I'll probably read number two again before I go to sleep just to see what I
Just to
missed the
see what you
first
miss.
time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I'm loving, man. I love it. I'm telling you, I can't wait. I mean, I might just go buy all the all the variant covers. I don't know, man. You know what? I do feel like this. Anyone who is a comic book reader and you are in, unless you just hate Batman, despise him, and hate his guts and the Joker, this is a good book. It is a good read. It is. I ain't gonna say it's a great read.
Yeah.
And I put I put my stamp of approval. I don't know how much that means to anybody,
Full stamp
but
of approval.
I'm telling you, man, you got three cats here that's read the books 1 and 2 multiple times. Well, I only read 2 once, but I'm gonna read it again tonight. And all of us love it, or like it, or enjoyed it. So it's a really good read. So if you're not on top of it,
Get
books,
on it.
yeah, books 1 and 2 are out. We're planning on doing a book 2. We were actually going to tackle that tonight, but we'd probably be talking to about 6 in the morning. So we opted just to do this one. And like I said, I know this video is pretty long, but if you ain't got nothing to do, you're at work and you can watch it or even listen to it, do that. So, but if you like the video, just like and share it with your folks. If you know any Batman fans that haven't read it and want to get their take on it, it's of course, spoilers, and we're gonna put that in the slug.
Let you know.
But yeah,
Right.
we
Right.
wanted to just discuss it, and like I said, we're gonna do this more and more often. As time progresses, and hopefully we can get some more good Batman stories, man, so we can talk about them because this book is the shit. I'm sorry. This book good as hell, man. I ain't gonna lie,
Right.
for real, for real. But anybody got any parting words before we close this thing out?
Like, share, and
Yup.
subscribe.
Right. Thank you. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend.
Tell a friend of a
Tell
friend.
your. Right. Tell a friend of it. A friend of a friend. Your mama, your sister, your cousin, your uncle. All on.
Let your
Even
mom and
people
them
you
know.
don't like. Right. People
That's
you
right.
don't like. Tell them to check it out.
Yeah, tell them to check out the Common Call and Roundtable discussion. We appreciate the subscribers. We're growing, which is a good thing, and we just want to put out some good content for y'all. But again, we're gonna do a part two. Hopefully for book two. Hopefully we can make that one a live stream if we can. And of course, at that point, we'll keep track of time if we can. But if not, then we'll have another three hour one. But
And enjoy the Easter eggs.
right, enjoy
Right.
the
Right.
yeah. So with that being said, this is Al. Chris is to my left. Xavier's down at the bottom. We wish you all farewell, goodbye, Avita Zane. We'll see you on the next show, and y'all take care.